next day, it just...
First WPIAL championships since 1984.
It's been a whole team effort. I mean, from the scout team defense to the wide receivers to the great offensive line I have. Everybody worked hard to push me to make me a better player, just like everybody else was pushed to be a better player. So now everything we've done this year has been as a unit.
Everything they did this year, you know, it was it's all their goals. You know, they wanted to win the conference championship, which we did, and now they wanted to get the Hines and win the WPIAL championship. That's one of their goals, and win the states. So, you know, we're taking one game at a time, and our next goal is to win the WPIAL, and Washington, the Prexies are in our way.
Now that the Tigers made it, the next step is stopping the highest-scoring team in the WPIAL, Washington. Beaver Falls isn't intimidated. In fact, it likes the role of the underdog and knows what it has to do to upset the Little Prexies.
We're looking forward to it. We have respect for them, and we know that they're a great football team, but we're not going to lay down. We're going to give it our best shot, and hopefully we can knock them off. But, you know, if we don't, it's been a great season, but we're going to look forward to knocking them off, and it'd be a great accomplishment for our football team, being the #1 team in the state. And we're not getting, not too many people think we can win this football game, and I think that kind of motivates us as a team and a coaching staff.
No one expects us to win, but, hey, you know what, about them, they got to keep up with our offense. So they got to score as much as we do, and that's how we've been beating people. We're going to score, and you got to score more than we do to beat us.
All right, and there's Keith Humphreys here at Heinz Field today. What a job he's done in his first year as the head coach of the Beaver Falls Tigers. More Championship Saturday coverage coming up from Heinz Field here on Fox Sports Net right after this.
There's something genuinely healthy about competition. It eliminates complacency, pushes people to new heights, inspires new...
Their second WPIAL title under head coach Guy Montecalvo. Warming up here at Heinz Field, getting set to play the Beaver Falls Tigers. Guy Montecalvo was a defensive back when he was a player himself in college, played for Joe Paterno at Penn State. And although Washington's defense is really good, it's their offense that really turns heads. Matter of fact, if the Little Prexies can score 28 points in their game here against Beaver Falls today, they will set a new record for points scored in a playoff season, the most ever in WPIAL playoff history. Here's more on the Washington Little Prexies from Rob King.
The football team. Anytime that you can return 21 seniors on a ball club, especially with the veteran experience that we've had and the number of starters that were coming back, you know you have a chance to be pretty good.
We just have a lot of confidence since the beginning of the year, and it keeps on building every game after every win. But right now our team is pretty confident going into this next game.
Outside of having a great nickname, the Little Prexies have completely dominated anyone and anything that stood in their way of getting to Heinz Field. Washington has averaged almost 44 points per game this season, the highest in the WPIAL, and they're doing it as a team.
We've tried to devise the offense to enable it to attack people in a variety of ways from a great variation of sets. We try to establish as much of a balance, although it's not totally balanced if you were to put it on a scale, but we're probably 75-25 run to pass.
Well, our offense, we don't have one special, like we don't pass too much, we don't run too much. We try to mix it up, and that's why I think our offense has been so dominant this year. It's just we have a lot of things we mix up during the game.
You just can't key on one person. Like, if you key on me, then you got my cousin Travis, and you got Jay, or if you key on like our passing game, we can attack you with the running game. So it's like balance.
Their offense might get all the glamour, but the defense has been just as good. So good, in fact, that the first-team defense has only allowed 3 touchdowns and a field goal in all 12 games.
It's been one of the best defensive football teams I think I can say now that our staff in 22 years has ever had the opportunity to coach.
Washington hasn't won the WPIAL championship since 1993, and they've been waiting for this game since last year.
We haven't done real well in this game. We're very proud of the fact that we've gotten here six years out of the last 12, but we've had some heartbreaking losses in the championship game.
This is what it's all about. I mean, our team waited all year for this point, and last year losing, we just wanted to keep on building, and we're finally getting our opportunity on Saturday, so it's going to be fun.
Thanks a lot, Rob. Rob will have the play-by-play of the second game along with Kevin Gorman of the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review. That's going to do it for this crew. My thanks to Mike White and Sam LaFazzo. Enjoy the rest of the day. 3 more championship games coming your way here on Fox Sports Net. Next, Beaver Falls against Washington, the AA title tilt from Heinz Field.
Get backed by Barrel's guaranteed lowest price, or a $2,000 check is yours. Choose from over 30 all-new 2002 Camrys for just $16,999 with $2,000 cash or trade. Guaranteed lowest price in the bird at Barrel Toyota in Cranberry.
Hi.
Got some spare change? Then get to McDonald's, because cheeseburgers are only 49 cents every Monday and Thursday. And every Sunday, 20-piece chicken McNuggets are just $2.99. 49-cent cheeseburgers and $2.99 20-piece chicken McNuggets, only at McDonald's.
It's the gift of a grandchild's laugh. It's the gift of a sister's advice. It's the holiday gift they'll really love. Time together. Thanks to Verizon Wireless.
Now get 3,500 total monthly minutes for just $35 monthly access on select digital plans, so you can call anyone, anywhere in the U.S. and talk all you want with nationwide long distance included. And get a free Motorola phone with activation after mail-in rebate.
So give your loved ones the gift they really want. You. Verizon Wireless. Join in.
For anyone who's ever aspired to greatness, here's your chance. Reach young minds. Make a difference. And be part of a winning team. Summit Academy, where pride still matters. Call now about our employment opportunities.
Hurry in for Backed by Barrel savings at Barrel Chevrolet. Lease a 2002 Blazer 4x4 for only $299 a month. Get 0% financing and save over $4,500 in finance charges. Plus, pay nothing until 2002. Get Backed by Barrel Chevrolet.
Welcome to Heinz Field. Today's WPIAL championships on Fox Sports Net are presented by McDonald's and Verizon Wireless. Hello, everyone. I'm Bill Fontana. It's game number 2. 6 title games in the past 12 years. Not too bad for undefeated Washington High School against the 11-1 Beaver Falls Tigers. It's number 1 in the state against number 2 in the state. This anticipated matchup, well, you're going to find out the results very soon. The Class AA crown, that's next. And here's our broadcasting team for game number 2, Rob King and Kevin Gorman.
All right, thanks very much, Bill. And I think, Kevin, we've been looking forward to this game. You're talking about 2 high-powered offenses, and it would seem like this is a game where we're going to see a lot of points scored.
You sure do. And you see Washington, they come in averaging about 44 points a game, but they've only scored 12 points a game over the 5 previous championship games, so it's going to be interesting to see if they come out and get rumbling right away.
Beaver Falls, meanwhile, has averaged 33 points a game since their lone loss of the year to Center in the middle of the season. They are led by an outstanding senior running back, Dane Williams, 22nd all-time in the WPIAL rushing list. He comes into this game with 4,132 rushing yards in his career.
You talk about Dane Williams. You look at the great running ability he has. Cutback runner, he's shifty, he's hard to catch, and he really makes a lot of big runs. Like you said, he has 2,000 yards in his career, 4,000 in his career, 2,000 this season. He had coming off a big game right there, 260 yards, 4 touchdowns against North Catholic last week.
And when you look at the Little Prexies, they do it more by committee. They've got 3 outstanding running backs themselves who, in fact, totaled have more yards than Dane Williams does, who carries most of the load for the Tigers. But the Little Prexies also have a pretty good quarterback in Justin Gregula.
And Gregula, he's a very underrated quarterback, one of the better ones in Class AA. you look at him, he's a very nice drop-back passer, very good with ball fakes. They have some excellent receivers. Brian Skaggs is one of their better ones. He has 38 touchdowns, a school record over the past 2 seasons. 17 this year, even though they don't throw the ball very much. Excellent player for them. He could be a very big key for them today.
Hold on to your hats. We are expecting a high-scoring game against two of the best offenses in the WPIAL. Washington against Beaver Falls. The AA Championships coming up on Fox Sports Net right after this.
Today, this woman saw her paper published by a leading medical journal, discussed a new technique with colleagues overseas, and recommended a course of care that she believes has the best chance of success. So why should an insurance company let this man decide if that care is really necessary? We still believe that the doctor knows best. UPMC Health Plan. Choose your health care as if your life depended on it.
Hi, I'm Bill Oliveria of Oliveria Chevrolet Buick. Out here at McDonald, we do business a little different. We don't use a lot of hype to sell cars. We sell cars by exceeding our customers' expectations, and we have for over 30 years. Come on in and look around. We have a full line of new Chevrolets and Buicks to choose from, and we're offering the lowest finance and lease rates available.
Oliverio Chevrolet Buick, Laurel Hill Road in the hills of McDonald, minutes from Cannonsburg and South Fayette.
There's no hype in the hills, just an honest car buying experience.
Sportsnet are presented by McDonald's. We love to see you smile. And by Verizon Wireless. Join in. And Kevin, we're getting set for the kickoff in this game, and before we do, here is the national anthem. All right, we're getting ready for some football here, Kevin. Kevin Gorman of the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review, and this is one we've been looking forward to. As we mentioned, two high-scoring teams, Beaver Falls against Washington. Washington has gotten into a habit of being here. Beaver Falls, this is their first trip to the final since 1984, and they're doing it under first-year coach Keith Humphreys.
And an interesting thing about that was the last time they made it here in '84, they had to beat Washington on their road to the championship game. They played a Washington team that Guy Montecalvo considers one of his best ever. They had Brian Davis, a 4,000-yard rusher, went on to play a Pitt, and they beat Wash High 13-6 in the muddy field up at Geneva College in the first-round game. And so, you know, Montecalvo probably had a little bit of revenge on his mind. Maybe not for the players, but more so for him.
These two teams don't play that often. You mentioned the last meeting in 1984. Beaver Falls leading the series 5-2-2. The last Washington win back in 1918. From 1917 to 1926, Washington won 4 titles. So this is sort of a rebirth for them under Guy Montecalvo in his 22 years there. He is beginning to get them back with a frequency that these kids' grandfathers or great-grandfathers were used to at one point.
That's for sure. You know, he's a Wash High guy himself, so I think that, you know, he takes a lot of pride in restoring that tradition.
You can see the fans have got their Beaver Falls Tigers paraphernalia ready for a Tiger victory, but what is it going to take to do that? Defensively, we talk about Washington's offense, Kevin, but Washington's defense, especially their first unit, is outstanding.
Yeah, they've only allowed 3 touchdowns and a field goal this season. All touchdowns are by pass. They rarely play into the fourth quarter. A lot of times you'll see this team, I think they have a handful of shutouts going in. They have 8 first-half shutouts, 5 shutouts through 3 quarters. That's something where, you know, these guys, they're doing their job, and then they have a safe lead. They get off the field, let the young kids play. That way they're ready for next year. I think it's going to take a very good effort by Beaver Falls just to be able to put some points on the board.
Beaver Falls coach Keith Humphreys, talking to him earlier this week, seemed very confident that his team can play with Washington. I think a lot of teams have come in awe of the Little Prexies and what they've been able to accomplish this season and in the past couple of years under Guy Montecalvo. But let's talk a little bit about Beaver Falls being in some close games and Washington not, and whether that will be a factor.
And that's one of the things to talk about. Washington hasn't been through a game where they've had to play the starting unit through the fourth quarter. They've been, even in the playoffs, they haven't had to deal with that. They had some blowout wins over South Park and New Brighton, and that's going to be a challenge for them. It's something that seems to hurt them when they come down here for the championship game, is that they haven't, you know, they're a little banged up after a couple quarters sometimes, and they haven't been in those tough challenges. Beaver Falls has. They've prevailed. I think the real challenge came, and the true test for Beaver Falls came in week 3 of the season when they played New Brighton. They were trailing. They went down, scored late in the game, won 22-20. 4 days later, they lose to Center 7-6. And they really haven't had any problems since then. You know, they had a challenge with Aliquippa in the playoffs, where it was another, I believe, another 22-20 victory. But Beaver Falls has been rolling along, and like you said, they have so much talent. They have every reason to be confident because of their players, but it's going to be a matter of how these players come up against a team that might be better than them.
One thing that Keith Humphreys says he tried to stress this year was more balance in the Beaver Falls Tigers' offensive attack. We talked about Dane Williams, but Justin Shiro, their quarterback, a senior, a very good one. He led them to 2 very impressive drives late in the Aliquippa game and also late in the New Brighton game in order for his team to pull out those victories.
And that's something that they needed. They didn't do as much last year. Shiro, I think his confidence went down a little bit. He was struggling at times because they were only putting him passing situations when it was 3rd and long, 4th and long, and they needed to come back. You know, it's not something where you have a high percentage rate there. Now they've tried to balance it out. They have a 1-2 punch with the run, with the pass. They have so many guys to throw to, from Slappy to Leo Clements to Tyrone Gooseby, the tight end Seth Job, and B.J. Tench. They have a lot of options. And then you have, out of the backfield, you have Williams and Karcheski. So he has a lot of players to look to. He has a big line to throw behind, and I think you're seeing Justin Shiro play at a very high level right now.
Each team has outstanding offenses. You can't really predict if it's going to be a high-scoring game, but we are certainly expecting one. Stick around. We're getting close to the kickoff of the AA game between Washington and Beaver Falls. Back with more after this.
Pittsburgh Sports Tonight.
Thank you, thank you, thank you!
It's the nightly newscast you've been waiting for.
This is the real deal.
30 minutes every night dedicated to scores, highlights, and interviews from your hometown teams.
We told you it was going to be good.
Your teams, your town, your show. Pittsburgh Sports Tonight, nightly at 10 on Fox Sports Net.
Come on and feel the love for the guys.
Introducing the best damn sports show, period.
Here are the rules. There are no rules.
A 3-ring circus of ex-jocks and comedians where anything goes.
Hey, Mike, better load up on the Michael Jordan cologne because the Wizards stink.
It's 90 minutes of comedy, commentary.
Michael Jordan is still the best player in the NBA.
And all the scores and highlights you can possibly stand.
It's not sex, but it's close.
Weeknights at 7:30 and 11:30 on Fox Sports Net.
Kurt Warner's life unfolded like a fairy tale. an unknown seeking a dream in the NFL.
I had no job, I had no money, we were living off of food stamps.
Until his hope became reality and gave him the opportunity of a lifetime.
2 minutes to go in the Super Bowl. Your team is tied.
Kurt Warner, Beyond the Glory, tomorrow at 8, followed by a special presentation of Deion Sanders at 9 on Fox Sports Net.
ACC basketball arrives. A dark new form. A superior game.
Wow, is he feeling it? Is he feeling it? He's a machine right now.
ACC Sunday Night Hoops premieres December 2nd on Fox Sports Net. Basketball evolved to its highest state.
Welcome back to Heinz Field. We're getting ready for Beaver Falls versus Washington. Rob King and Kevin Gorman along with you. Take you throughout today's activity, at least this AA game. I'm going to show you the road to the championship that each team has traveled. Washington, the champions of the Interstate Conference, and here's who they beat to get to the playoffs. They came in. They've been the #1 team in the state since Mount Carmel lost in the first week of the season. They ascended to that throne, and no reason to believe in 3 lopsided wins in the playoffs, Kevin, that anything has changed as far as that's concerned.
No, that's the only thing. That they've come into the playoffs averaging 44 points a game for the season, but in the championship games, they're only averaging 12 points. This year should be different. This year, they have every reason to come in and run up another high score. The one thing you have to take into consideration is that the Little Prexies have never started a season with 13 consecutive victories. Twice they were 12-0, 1990 and 1995, and lost in the WPIAL Finals. Both times by 1 point. In 1990, they lost to Canevin 21-20. In 1995, they lost to Burrell 14-13 in the first WPIAL Championship game that went into overtime.
In that 1990 game, they were banged up, had some injuries, some suspensions, and Montecalvo thinks that's one of his best teams that he ever had. Both those teams very high on them. As far as Beaver Falls, we mentioned that the champions of the Midwestern Conference have not been to this championship game since 1984. Their road to get here was quite a bit more difficult. In fact, the first couple rounds, they had a hard time getting out of those rounds.
Pair of 2-point victories, and it seems like they kind of escaped by the skin of their teeth. But as they got further into the playoffs, they seem to be playing better, and that's a good sign for a team, is that when you get into the semifinal round, you're starting to hit your stride, you're starting to pick up, and they're not unfamiliar with the territory now. That's what Dane Williams told me this week. He said, look, we've got a Midwestern Conference championship under our belt. We have 2 playoff victories, and now we're ready to win that championship. It's our turn.
2 wins over Aliquippa this year, a win over Carlinton. There's always a question when teams get into the championship game, Kevin, who's been in the other league, who's been in the better league, who's faced a better competition throughout the course of the year, and that's something we'll talk about a little bit more as the game unfolds as well, and the proof will be in the pudding and on the field here at Heinz Field today. Let's go down now to Bill Fontana. Bill?
Rob, thank you very much. This is Suzanne Montecalvo, and to my understanding, you're quite an athlete, and also the daughter of Coach Guy Montecalvo. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Suze.
Well, I run track, and I play basketball for Wash High, and I'm a senior this year.
And how's your basketball team going to be?
We should be pretty good. We were second in the WPIAL last year, so we're hoping to get back there and win it this year.
It's my understanding, too, that your dad believes a lot with plyometrics and track and football in the spring. They really don't even touch the ball. Your thoughts about this game? Any peculiar things that he did this morning?
No, he just got ready as usual. I just wish him luck, and I just think that we all believe, and the players believe, and they're just determined as ever to win today. So,
if you can refresh my memory, there was a story about one of the daughters, I think, that was born on the night of the Aliquippa game, a playoff game. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's me.
Was that you?
Yeah.
What was the story there?
Well, my mom was going into labor with me like about a half an hour before the game started, and my dad was at the hospital with her, and she told him to leave to go to the game, so he did. He went to the game, and I was born while he was at the game.
And what are your thoughts about Wash High this afternoon?
They're going to win.
There you have it, Suzanne Montecalvo. Let's go back upstairs and join Rob.
Bill, thanks very much. And she's a track superstar, not just good at track.
She is. She runs the 100, the 200, several other events for the Prexies.
So a star athlete, and he's the track coach there as well. We'll be back with more after this.
Pittsburgh Sports Tonight.
Thank you, thank you, thank
you!
It's the nightly newscast you've been waiting for.
This is the real deal.
30 minutes every night dedicated to scores, highlights, and interviews from your hometown teams.
We told you it was going to be good.
Your teams, your town, your show. Pittsburgh Sports Tonight, nightly at 10 on Fox Sports Net.
Come on and feel the love for the guys.
Introducing the best damn sports show, period.
Here are the rules. There are no rules.
A three-ring circus of ex-jocks and comedians where anything goes.
Hey, Mike, better load up on the Michael Jordan cologne because the Wizards stink.
It's 90 minutes of comedy, commentary,
Michael Jordan is still the best player in the NBA.
and all the scores and highlights you can possibly stand.
It's not sex, but it's close.
Weeknights at 7:30 and 11:30 on Fox Sports Net.
Kurt Warner's life unfolded like a fairy tale. An unknown seeking a dream in the NFL.
I had no job, I had no money, we were living off of food stamps.
Until his hope became reality and gave him the opportunity of a lifetime.
2 minutes to go in the Super Bowl. Your team is tied.
Kurt Warner, Beyond the Glory, tomorrow at 8, followed by a special presentation of Deion Sanders at 9 on Fox Sports Net.
ACC basketball arrives. Adopt new form. A superior game.
Wow, is he feeling it? Is he feeling it? He's a machine right now.
ACC Sunday Night Hoops premieres December 2nd on Fox Sports Net. Basketball evolved to its highest state.
The Little Prexies getting ready to try to improve to 13-0, taking on Beaver Falls. Washington has just won the coin toss. They have elected to receive. They will get the ball first. We were mentioning something about Guy Montecalvo just before we went to break, about some rumblings that this is perhaps his last season as football coach, because he's also the track and field coach at Washington.
And we just met Suzanne Montecalvo. Guy has a daughter, Laura, who's an 8th grader at in the Washington School District, and she is considered an outstanding track athlete. She's one of the top in her age group in the junior nationals for the AAU, and he said he's going to see her through in track and field, but he's making no promises about football. When I asked him if this was going to be his last season, he was non-committal. He wouldn't answer the question. He just said, we'll see. I don't know if I can live without football, but you know, I've been doing this for a long time, and it takes a lot of time and effort, and I don't want to do anything but give 100% to these kids. So we'll see if you know, maybe they go on to win a state championship if this is his grand finale.
There is some wind as Jerry Hall gets ready to kick off. Deep for Washington. Brian Cherry is back there, and he is one of their top return men. And the kick is a good one. This is fielded instead by Travis Thomas. Thomas gets the block, heads up the right sideline, and knocked out of bounds. A good return as he takes it all the way out to the 37-yard line, where Washington will take over 1st and 10.
And last week we saw Washington start the game with a bang where they fumbled the opening kickoff, but Javon Washington recovered it, went 53 yards for a touchdown. So this one, at least they're going to have start off with a drive.
They run a lot of multiple sets, a lot of motion. They try to confuse teams a little bit. They've got that wingback set, J.R. Ward, with Travis Thomas and Vonnie Johnson in the slots. Now this is Thomas in motion. Play action fake. Looking to pass. It'll swing out into the slot. And he's got some room. Thomas eludes one tackler, cuts back. Looking for some room. Hit and finally corralled and taken down by Spencer Waldron. A big gain of some 24 yards on the first play of the game, and you expect him to come out running. Instead, they go to the air.
And that's something, you know, I think that they wanted to come out and make a big play first. Like you said, they have so many misdirection plays that you have to prepare for. The first thing they're looking for is the run. They come out, few fakes, and throw a nice big pass play.
And you saw Thomas coming in motion to begin that play. You'll see a lot of that as well. And now in motion the other side is Johnson. Quick toss, cuts back up the middle. Johnson's got plenty of room up the middle. And down inside the 10 and to about the 7-yard line. Oh, you talk about quick strike capabilities. 2 plays, and they're already down at the 7-yard line.
And Johnson just has that breakaway ability. You watch him come through here. Once he breaks through that line, look at the stride pickup. He starts moving and chugging those legs. And, you know, I saw him do it 2 weeks ago against South Park. Once he gets in that open field, he's a hard guy to catch.
Take another look at him getting that seam and bursting up the middle, taking it inside the 10-yard line. Gugula calling the signals. Quick hitter up the middle, and this time Ward is stuffed inside as Pisano leads the charge. We haven't even had Matt Karcheski also went on that. Haven't even had a chance to set the teams. J.R. Ward, Travis Thomas, and Vonnie Johnson, all of them have at least 795 yards rushing. Brian Skaggs, our leading receiver, and DJ Valley. The offensive line, all seniors. Borkowski, Sapula, Cohen, Hughes, and Dan Moses, a West Virginia recruit anchoring the right side of that offensive line. Second and goal. Gugula under center. As Thomas in motion, pitches to him. Heads up the left side, and gang tackle down there, taken down maybe a 2-yard gain or so as Karcheski and Nestor into the stop there. Adam Krepp, Blair Cockfield, Mike Pisano, a very good player, Rory Thomas and B.J. Tench along the 50 front. Regis Bolden and Matt Karcheski, also the fullback, are the linebackers. Tyrone Gooseby, Spencer Waldron, Patrick Nestor, Rodney Slappy. A lot of talent and a lot of size in that defensive backfield as well.
But yeah, they have so many dimensions that they added. They have Johnson as a breakaway guy. They have Travis Thomas as a slash, and then J.R. Ward, who's just a bulldozer right up the middle. And they can go whichever way they want.
Little wrinkle motion, now play action pass. Cutting across, and it is picked off by Patrick Nestor. Nestor still on his feet, spins back towards the middle of the field, and the first big play of the game turned in defensively by Beaver Falls. Going for Brian Skaggs there, had him open. I don't think he ever saw Nestor.
No, Nestor just popped up there, made a really nice catch on this one. You see him kind of make a fingertip grab on it. I can't tell you how important this game was. And you also see Waldron was had covered Skaggs on that play. This is something, you can't let Washington get started. You have to kind of demoralize them a little bit and say, we're not going to let you score on us. I can't tell you how this could change the momentum of the game at least at the very early part of the game.
Quarterback Justin Shiro brings his team to the offensive line. Has two receivers split out to the left. Now Slappy in motion, quick pitch to Dane Williams. Williams gets the corner looking for some room, cuts back, and finally dragged down after a gain of about 9 or so. Dan Moses, the West Virginia recruit who plays both ways, an offensive lineman perhaps in college, making the tackle, but not before Williams picked up 9 yards.
And you see the downfield blocking by the receivers. Matt Karcheski led this pitch right here left. Williams needs the blockers. He can hide behind these guys because he's not a very big guy. And then he has that quick burst where he just bounces outside and then takes off.
And power left here, except Karcheski lined up to the right side. Receiver split, so a balanced formation. Hand off to Williams again. Looks to cut back. And this time he is stopped after a short gain, but it's going to be enough, it appears, for a Beaver Falls first down as we take a look at the Tigers starting lineup. There's Matt Karcheski, who played offensive guard last year, moved to fullback this year. Dane Williams, we talked about him. Seth Jobe, Spencer Waldron, and Rodney Slappy are your receivers. The offensive line is huge. 6'3", about 260 to averages. Rory Thomas, Randy Mason, Mickey Cooper, Mike Pisano, and Brian Pitts.
And that's really going to be the key to this game, is how these lines match up against each other. This is the biggest test for Beaver Falls. Washington has a really good front, and it's going to be a matter of whether you can overpower them or they're going to be victimized for the speed and agility.
Gyro, quick pass. Slappy makes the move, gets out, and picks up about 7 yards before he's gang tackled there. Justin Hull in on that stop, as well as Darnell Barnes. We'll take another look at it here. Just a quick out, and Slappy is able to cut inside of Brian Cherry, who over pursued. Cherry just 5'5", 142 pounds. We talk about an edge that Beaver Falls might have. Their receivers very big. The defensive backfield of Washington very small.
And that's something they also are very good after the catch, aside from their size. They have the ability to spin off. Dane Williams here.
Bouncing outside, he's going to pick up 6 and pick up another first down for Beaver Falls before he is finally tackled by Travis Thomas. So Beaver Falls moving the chains.
I think one of the advantages Beaver Falls has, aside from the size advantage on the receptions, they also have that size advantage on the downfield blocking. And you get these big guys leading the way for Dane Williams. They just have small guys there that they have to get a few little shots in on them and mix things up for Williams, and he can follow those blocks.
You see Keith Humphreys, former Aliquippa star, played college football at Louisville. Shiro's got 3 receivers in this set now. Williams, the lone back, gets the pitch. Trying to get the corner. He's got it again. Looking for a block downfield. Cuts back inside that block and picks up 14 yards.
Williams made a very nice hesitation move, and you saw him stop about a yard or 2 short of the first down marker. Cut back inside. Here you're going to see him. He goes right wide right. He's going to stop here. Follow his blockers, cut back inside, and get that first down.
You see Waldron doing a nice job of at least getting in the way of the defender and allowing Williams to cut back, and that is his forte. He is a cutback runner.
And that's the thing that Montecalvo said. They have to watch him cutting back. You can't allow this kid to just sit there and hesitate and wait for the blocks and then go through.
Here's Williams again off the left side, looking for some room behind big tackle Rory Thomas, and picks up just a couple. As Dan Moses equal to the task defensively to make that stop. Rory Thomas listed at 6'5", 290, probably bigger than that. As we take a look at the Prexies defense, Borkowski, Giles, P.J. Hughes, Moses, and Vontae Johnson. And the linebackers, Sapula, Trapezano, and Montecalvo. And the secondary, Thomas, Barnes, Cherry, and Skaggs. Sapula, one of their best players, had some injury problems. We'll get to that in just a moment. Shiro back to pass, plenty of pressure, eludes it at first. Now he's got some room. Looking and can't get around Moses, as Moses ranging over to make the stop. Now this Washington team set a school record with 51.5 sacks this year. They had Shiro in their grasp, but Shiro's a pretty big kid.
Yeah, he's a big guy, and you see them, they kind of bounce off his legs there a little bit. But I think he has the confidence that he's willing, because of his arm strength, to take a sack. But he's also strong enough to know that it might take more than one guy to take him down.
Able to get back to the line of scrimmage as Borkowski had a great shot at him. That was Moses, so I beg your pardon, it was Hughes that eventually came over to make the stop there. Now Shiro, 2 receivers split to the left. Got a tight end on the right side. Play action pass. Looking and lofting one. And Slappy goes up for it and can't come down with a grab. Defending on the play, Darnell Barnes, and that's going to bring up a 4th and 8. And that's going to bring on the punt team for the Little Prexies, or for Beaver Falls, I beg your pardon. There again, trying to capitalize on that size advantage as Shiro floated one out there. Slappy looked like he got his hands on it, but I think Barnes might have gotten a hand in there to knock it down. And now a fake punt. And a completion, and it's going to be enough for a first down. As Spencer Waldron makes the grab on the fake punt.
What a gutsy call there by Beaver Falls. And this is a Washington team you don't want to take too many risks with, because they're going to make you pay for it. But Shiro throws a very nice pass to Waldron, just in time, just enough for the first down too.
No pressure on him. Able to float it out there. Waldron makes the grab. They needed 7, they got 8. So Keith Humphreys, the first-year coach, with a gutsy call. As you can see, Montecalvo screaming, and I don't know if he called for a timeout or not. No, Beaver Falls instead calls the timeout. It is scoreless, but there's been plenty of action so far. Back with more from Heinz Field after this.
Come on. Great move. Shoot it, Lemieux. He scores. Yeah!
NFL This Morning. It's the pregame show that's not really a pregame show. Tomorrow at 10 on Fox Sports Net.
So off the fake punt, Beaver Falls maintains possession. They're going to have it at their own, or at rather Washington's 34-yard line, 1st and 10. Power eye to the right. 2 tight ends. Play action pass. Slappy breaking wide open, but the ball floats and it is intercepted by Spencer Waldron, or Darnell Barnes, I beg your pardon. Darnell Barnes with the interception for the Little Prexies. So I guess turnabout is fair play.
It sure is. Slappy got behind the defender on this, and you're going to see the replay right here. The ball hung up there a little bit. You see the upward spiral, and it gets up there a little high. Great grab by Darnell Barnes. Big interception for them.
There is some wind on the field, so if you don't get a good, crisp, tight spiral, the ball will flutter, the ball will float, as happened there. Darnell Barnes, one of the few guys in that secondary with some size, and he comes up with his first interception of the year. Now play off the right side in the misdirection, and no gain on the play. Hey, it's the new show that everyone is talking about, the best damn sports show, period. It's the new nightly show that features a comedian who's a diehard sports fan and a bunch of ex-jocks who really know the game. Critics are calling it a collision of sports and comedy, and just what we've been waiting for. Introducing the best damn sports show, period. Weeknights at 7:30 and 11:30, only on Fox Sports Net.
Speaking of that interception, that was the first interception by somebody other than Dale Calloway or Brian Skaggs for Washington this season. That's the 11th interception for the Prexies, and those two had accounted for all 10 of them.
Pagula in motion, trying to go up high to Skaggs, just off his fingertips, was double covered, but had beat that double coverage and was open. And Slappy in there defensively, as well as Tyrone Gooseby, a couple of excellent athletes, stars for the Beaver Falls basketball team as well.
That's the thing about Skaggs, is you see the guy, he doesn't have great size, doesn't have great speed, but he runs very nice routes and he knows how to get open. The ball was just slightly overthrown. He extended, he almost got a chance to have it, but it was just a little bit too high for him.
Well, interesting, we talked a little bit about the speed and athleticism of Beaver Falls secondary, and so far it has been pretty good. Very early in the game to be making too quick a judgment, however. Pagula back to pass again, lost another one, and this one is overthrown, intended for Skaggs once again. So the Little Prexies, 3 and out, are going to be forced to punt.
That looked like it was supposed to be a hitch and go. It looks like there was a little miscommunication there. I didn't see Skaggs really make much of a hesitation there, and I don't know if that was if they had a little trouble reading that one or if he just overthrew him on that.
And so back deep to receive the punt will be Spencer Waldron. I don't think we'll see a fake this time.
No.
Pagula, as the place kicking, also handles the punting chores. Set a school record for extra points as well as touchdown passes, and this kick off the side of his foot does get a forward roll, but once again the Tigers are going to get the ball in excellent field position at the 43-yard line. So they were forced to punt, but 3 and out for Washington, so they get the ball right back in good position again.
I think it's going to be interesting to see it. Washington hasn't allowed a rushing touchdown. You see Dane Williams is having a pretty good game so far, having his way with running the ball. I want to see if they can maybe punch it in from 43 yards.
Well, each team prides itself on its balance. They like to run the ball, but they can throw it as well. So it'll be interesting to see what Coach Keith Humphreys calls for here. Shiro, quick pitch out to Williams. Tries to get the corner, does. Cuts inside and picks up nice yardage once again. Boy, he got a nice block on the outside by Tench, Bernard Tench, the junior. A nice kick-out block here.
I think you saw it. They had him sealed with Tench and Karcheski there on the side. It's nice when you have a guy who was a right guard last year playing fullback behind you. He's basically getting a running start as opposed to just lining up in 3-point.
He'll run it occasionally, can catch the ball a little bit, as we see Dane Williams has now moved to 21st on the all-time list. And he has a chance, I'll tell you what, if the Tigers continue to advance throughout the playoffs, he'll have a chance to move up quite a bit further because you got a lot of guys bunched in there that 43, 400 yard mark or so.
Repeat the down.
Yeah, you know, he has a, like you said, he has a chance that if he can put it through a couple 100-yard games, if they get through the state championship game, he could easily end up, you know, at least 4,500, which puts him in the top 15. Brian Davis from Washington's at 4,480. Brian Chismar from Swissvale, 45-44. He has a chance to get up in that class, which, you know, you're up there with some of the great running backs at WPIAL.
After the penalty, it'll now be a 2nd and 8 for the Beaver Falls Tigers. Shiro brings his team up to the line of scrimmage. Back split to the left. Shiro back to pass. Pump fake, and now looking for the long one. His pass is up, fluttered short, and nearly intercepted. Slappy had to do a nice job of knocking it down.
Dale Calloway.
Dale Calloway, the sophomore, who has 6 interceptions this year to lead the Little Prexies, almost came away with his 7th.
And he's an excellent athlete. He also played varsity basketball last year for the Prexies. And I think he's going to be a very good basketball player, but Guy Montecalvo believes that this kid might be a Division I cornerback as he gets older.
5'11", or thereabouts, 165 pounds, but just a sophomore. Plenty of time to grow. Has good speed and 6 interceptions coming in dime situations.
You saw right there, he has nice athletic ability, nice leaping ability.
And now Shiro faces a 3rd and 8. 2 receivers split to the right. Now nobody left in the backfield as Williams comes in motion. Shiro back to pass. Now flushed out of the pocket. Moving to his left, and a swarm of tacklers, a fumble. The ball's still loose, and it is picked up and recovered by the Little Prexies. As there's Dale Calloway again.
Shiro looks like he's injured, too. There's a guy down for Beaver Falls.
Ben Borkowski was the one, I think, who got a hand on this. Yeah, Borkowski hit him from behind.
Put his helmet on him.
The ball loose for a while. And there is Dale Calloway for the interception. Well, the Little Prexies have gotten a little bit of pressure on Shiro a couple of times. Boy, he's shown some elusiveness.
Boy, Beaver Falls had 2 chances to recover that. Number 55, I believe that's Mike Pisano. And then you saw, I think it was 79. Is that Thomas that also dove on the ball? They got it scrambled away from him.
And it looks like it's hard to tell from here, but it looks like it might be Pisano who is down. That would be a big blow. Pisano, not only a starting offensive lineman, but also their best defensive player, particularly in that interior.
Yeah, Keith Humphreys thinks that he'd be a really good college defensive end, but he lines up, I believe, as nose guard or nose tackle for the Tigers because they want to use his speed on the inside to offset the other big guys that they have. So this could be a big loss for them.
There's Pisano on the right part of your screen. And when the ball comes loose, I think you're going to see him go for it here.
It looked like he landed on his elbow.
Yeah, hard to say, or maybe somebody landed on his ankle there. Tough to speculate. You see him.
He is limping off.
Yeah, and again, it looks like they're holding that elbow, so you might very well be right. That might be where the injury lies. And for Keith Humphreys, that is a key injury if Pisano is not able to return. Bill Fontana?
Rob, this is Steve Higgins, and he is a former quarterback at Beaver Falls High School. Steve, actually, if you can tell the story quickly, what happened? You played for Larry Bruno.
Yes, I played for Bruno in 1975. He's a great coach. Started a tradition that we still have today.
And they flipped a coin, and what happened at quarterback?
He had a quarterback controversy my junior year, and he did flip a coin before one of our first games. And the game turned out in a loss. That week, I switched to receiver, and we had a successful season.
Stevie went on to get a full ride at Alabama, so he's rooting for the Tigers. Let's go back upstairs and join Rob and Kevin.
All right, thanks very much, fellas. A quick hitter inside, and Travis Thomas picked up about 7 on that play. So they're telling us now it's a shoulder injury to Pisano. They're working on, evidently, that left shoulder. When they hold the arm like that, a lot of times, maybe it popped out of the socket. Could be a separation. But we'll wait for official word. Another quick hitter, and this is Brian Cherry, the reserve, who's in there, and he pops one for 12 yards, and that's enough for a first down. So Washington seemingly back in their offensive groove now after going 3 and out their last time. see Cherry came in motion, picked the lead block from Ward, and able to scoot for 12 yards.
And Cherry's another guy, like you said, with the dimensions that they have. I mean, here's a guy who's small, he's quick, and he's a 4-year varsity player. As small as he is, he came up as a freshman and played for the Prexies.
See working on Pisano on the sideline. Thomas in motion, and it's Cherry coming back the other way. Again, I'll tell you what, if you've ever played any high school football against a team that moves anything like Washington, it is very, very difficult to figure out who has the ball. You got guys going in motion one way, then back comes Cherry the other way with the ball. Keith Humphreys really stressed trying to stay at home defensively, make sure you don't overcommit, and go for that first fake.
It's very important not to just follow your assignments, but they, you know, it seems like these guys are tackling not only the guy that's getting the ball, but they also the guy that's getting the fake. So you have to make sure you tackle everybody.
Thomas now with the pitch. Plenty of blockers in front of him, breaking it free and inside the 10-yard line. Travis Thomas rumbling for some 20 yards. And that's going to set up a 1st and goal as J.R. Ward, the fullback, with another good lead block.
This carries down to the Tiger 9-yard line.
You see Ward here with a kick out, and then nothing but daylight. He outran his blockers. This is the second time for the Little Prexies inside the 10-yard line. The first time they had a 3rd down pass picked off. This is Cherry in motion. He gets the pitch. Cuts back inside. Brought down after a short gain. Pickup of a couple. And it'll be 2nd and goal from the 7.
This is the time you might see Vontae Johnson pop in there again and maybe throw a dive up the middle with Vontae. He's really explosive up the middle.
Doug Buford made the stop there. He had the game-winning interception last week. What proved to be the game-winning interception, the score that put him ahead for good.
That was really the turning point of that game. Marty Nishodka from North Catholic had a 41-yard run nullified by a penalty. 51-yard penalty altogether, and that was the turning point.
Well, still scoreless after 1, but Washington knocking on the door. We'll be back with more after this.
Zip, zilch, 0% financing. Area Suzuki dealers have 0% financing on 2002 Suzukis, Vitaras, Grand Vitaras, XL7s, and Esteems, all with 0% financing. Lease a 2002 4-wheel drive XL7 for only $279.95 per month for 39 months. Now is the best time ever to visit Pittsburgh area Suzuki dealers, but you gotta hurry. 0% financing ends soon.
Together hospitals just to get big. We don't have our own health plan just to be in the insurance business. We don't invest in doctors and technology or follow the U.S. News rankings of best hospitals just to pat ourselves on the back. We do it so the people of Western Pennsylvania get the finest care in the country. Right here, at UPMC, we don't have one good reason for why we do what we do. We have 4,000,001.
Want to make this a Thanksgiving to remember? You'll need food.
Don't do that again.
Games. Friends.
My parts are showing.
And surprises.
We'll handle this.
Throw the Thanksgiving bash, everyone will want to crash and stop. Never before seen on television, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Plus, a sneak peek at the StarWars.com documentary, R2-D2 Beneath the Dome.
Success has gone to his dome.
2 television premiere events. Fox Sunday.
Welcome back to the second quarter of our WPIAL AA Championship between Beaver Falls and Washington. We expected lots of scoring. We've seen plenty of offense, Kevin, but not a whole lot of scoring. Washington, though, knocking on the door.
Yeah, a couple big defensive plays. Each team has an interception at this point. I don't think you're going to see Washington throwing the ball right now, though.
Washington now, after changing their set, has moved a couple guys. They had big-time unbalanced power to the right side. However, we have a flag. And it came before the snap, so you'd have to believe that, well, you'd think it was going to be against Washington, but it's going to be against Beaver Falls. It's offside.
on the Beaver Falls defense. Maybe all that motion confused him a little bit. You take a look at some of the first quarter statistics. Beaver Falls with more first downs, the total yardage in a big way in Washington's advantage. Beaver Falls had the ball for longer. Washington marched right down the field, turned it over, and then Beaver Falls went on a long drive to reestablish some field position. But now Washington, second and goal from the 3-yard line, and a chance to get the game's first score. Inside handoff, not fooled, staying at home and doing a good job defensively. Matt Karcheski, the middle linebacker and fullback, who makes the nice stop here. That's just good penetration.
Travis Thomas just didn't have a whole lot of room to run there.
And so now 3rd and goal from the 5 as Karcheski got in their first nester and then a whole gang of Tigers. That's a pride of Lions. What is it of the Tigers? Any idea? I think they're solitary creatures. Not on the football field, though. Cherry now the fake, and Gagula still has it. Looking for some room outside. Stays on its feet. Plunges inside the 5-yard line. But nothing doing on that one. A couple of fakes, and he tried to hide it on his hip. But we talked about the Tigers' defense staying at home, and they did a nice job of it here.
Yeah, he takes a little bootleg. Like you said, nice fake there, but he didn't get the outside protection that he needed. And when he tried to cut back inside, he did get a few yards, and he, avoided a big loss there because that could have really hurt him.
Tench was there first to spin it inside, and so Gagula will now attempt the field goal. And it will be a 21-yard attempt. Excellent baseball player. He's been all district since he was a freshman at shortstop, and this kick, I don't know if it was blocked or he just didn't get it, but either way, he missed it right. And so he remains scoreless.
Yeah, that seemed like it skipped right off the side of his foot. I want to see how those laces, how that hold went down. It didn't look like it was too.
It's going to be hard to tell from here. It's a pretty good spot.
I can see the snap hit the holder right in the chest, and I don't know if it might have taken him a split second off of the timing there.
I held in high school and college and hated it. Absolutely hated it. Some people love it, but some people are crazy. So here we go back at Beaver Falls. Dane Williams getting to pitch again, looking for some room outside, turns the corner, cuts it back up, and picks up about 4 before he is driven hard out of bounds. Well, this is no surprise. They're going to continue to run Williams as often as they possibly can, and as long as it continues to work. Television's most unique brand of football commentary airs Sunday with NFL This Morning on Fox Sports Net. This season, football funny man Jay Moore and the rest of the NFL This Morning crew welcome Boomer Esiason to the show that critics call the most unique, groundbreaking, off-the-wall 2 hours of football news. NFL This Morning. It's the pregame show that's not really a pregame show. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on Fox Sports Net. 2nd and 6 situation. Chiro with 2 receivers split to his right, 1 to his left. Quick pass out in the flat, and it's to Slappy. Slappy turns upfield and up for the first down as he crosses the 30 and gets it out to nearly the 35-yard line. Brian Skaggs on the stop.
A very nice job of throwing it out to Slappy, setting up with Waldron having the seal block there, and then Slappy able to get the first down a couple extra yards after the catch.
We mentioned Slappy and Gooseby being such good athletes. Slappy in particular has been a big target. 41 receptions this year. He is by far the leading receiver. 49 receptions, I should say now, with the postseason numbers added in. 760 yards and 7 touchdowns. Chiro's got 2 receivers split left, 1 split down to the right. Pitch to Williams. Crashing in hard, but not able to make the stop was Javon Washington, but then gets some help. And Washington, the little fella, got in there first and was able to break things up a little bit.
Yeah, Washington really made that play. He didn't make the tackle, but he really he made Williams step them over to get over him, and that really gave everybody else the time.
Now Washington came flying in there. He's 5'4", 145 pounds.
And I can guarantee you that he is the loudest mouth on the field. I've seen him down on the sidelines. The kid does not shut up the entire game. He's screaming at his players, the opposing bench. Anybody that looks at him in his direction, he's going to get yelled at.
Loss of 1 on the play. It brings up 2nd and 11. Tight end to the right side. Play action fake. Shiro flushed out again. Floats one to a wide open Karcheski. Turns up the right sideline, looking for a block. Can't get it. Finally driven out of bounds by Darnell Barnes, but a huge gain for Karcheski. They don't use him that often, so when they do, I think it comes as a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, it was a really nice call. You know, like I said, he's more of a right guard out of the backfield. He's not your traditional fullback. He's got great blocking abilities. Nice receiver, nice after the catch run, but you know, this isn't the kind of guy that's used very often, so when they do use him, it's nice to see they get a big gain out of it.
And he loves it. I mean, you're an offensive guard. Hey, if you get the ball 20, 25 times a year, it's more than he did as an offensive guard.
That's for sure.
So he welcomed the switch to fullback. And Shiro, as Beaver Falls, beginning to put together another impressive drive. Tight end to the left. And a counter back the other way by Williams, but he is dragged down from behind by Dan Moses. No gain in the play. In fact, lost about a yard.
Moses was a guy that was overshadowed by some of their other linemen that they've had the past couple years. They had Colin Miles. They had Chet Henderson, who ended up going to the Navy. This year, he went down to the Metro Index camp, and the coaches down there were raving about him. Wouldn't you know it, this summer, right before the season started, he commits to West Virginia, and he's looking like every bit the player that they were talking about this past spring.
He is big. At 6'3", 285 pounds,
and he can move.
5'1" speed. Not a lot of flab on that 285 pounds. Shiro back to pass now. Looking, and again, Karcheski the other way. Same exact play. Lots of room. And able to slide through. A tackle attempt by Darnell Barnes. Barnes did tackle him, but wasn't able to get him short of the first down. So another first down for Beaver Falls.
Same play, opposite side. You see Karcheski go out in the left flat. Just toss a nice little floater to him. He's wide open. He's only got one guy to beat for the first down, and he gets it.
Well, we talked about the trickery of Washington, but Beaver Falls, lots of different formations. We've seen some play-action pass, and we've seen Karcheski used a lot more than you would normally see him. A couple times a game for him. It's like Christmas. And Shiro 5 for 8, 65 yards, does have that one interception. Has 3 receivers out this time. Now floats one for the corner, a jump ball. And a good battle, and this is going to be interesting because Gooseby was going for it offensively. Defensively, Callaway appeared to have pretty good position. This might be offensive pass interference. And let's see what the call is.
Offensive pass interference. White.
Exactly what they're calling, offensive pass interference.
Well, Shiro never had a chance to set his feet and make a good throw. Got tremendous pressure up the middle, had to float it. That's just good defensive position. Callaway wanted it immediately. And this is a big one, marching back 15 yards.
It's a shame he couldn't get it up high enough for Gooseby, because Gooseby's a high jumper for the Beaver Falls track team. He's the kind of kid, he finished second in both the WPIAL and the state. I know he's cleared 6'7.5". He was 6'4" at both of the big meets this past year. So if he could have put it up there, you know, you have Callaway's a basketball player. Gooseby's a basketball player. If they could get a nice little jump ball, it would have been interesting.
They don't want to slappy. Gooseby, a great athlete, and he had a tremendous game, particularly defensively against North Catholic. Shiro now, back to pass. Has 2 receivers out in the formation, comes back with a screen the other way. Williams gets past the first blocker, the first tackler, and then another one, and cuts back, still on his feet. Looking, and here goes Williams. Dane Williams is going to take it all the way in for the score.
Wow.
What a tremendous effort. Or was that Gooseby? I guess it was Gooseby. Well, we talked about what a tremendous athlete he is, and Gooseby, just like that, shows some of that athletic ability.
Well, I could have swore that was Dan Williams the way he was running, but you're right, it's Gooseby. He looks like he's down once, twice, 3 times right there, 4. 4 different guys had their hands on him. He breaks all his tackles. You see how strong his legs are. And the guy weighs 6'3", weighs about 185, 195 pounds.
And takes it to the distance, and the extra point is up and good. So Beaver Falls has struck first. They lead 7-0 back from Heinz Field after this.
Got some spare change? Then get to McDonald's, because cheeseburgers are only 49 cents every Monday and Thursday. And every Sunday, 20-piece chicken McNuggets are just $2.99. 49-cent cheeseburgers and $2.99 20-piece chicken McNuggets, only at McDonald's.
Tyrone Gooseby is a big playmaker for Beaver Falls. Has just 18 catches coming into this game, 6 of those for touchdowns. Make it 19 with 7 for touchdowns here as he gets the throwback and then makes some magic happen in the open field.
And you saw Rory Thomas out there make a big block, but Gooseby had a lot to do with that run.
And back to live action. Brian Cherry carrying it back out over the 35 to about the 36-yard line, where Washington will get their hands on the ball once again. An 8-play, 80-yard drive capped by the 44-yard catch and run by Tyrone Gooseby.
Now it's going to be, I'm interested to see how Washington responds to this. They've been down twice this year. They trailed Brownsville twice early in the season. They were trailing South Park 7-0 to start the game in the semifinals.
And they're pressing up on those wide receivers. A toss, and it is fumbled, and it's still on the carpet, and it is recovered by Beaver Falls.
And it looks like that was Vontae Johnson that fumbled it.
Yeah, the senior could not get his hands on it. Looked like a pretty good pitch. He just took his eyes off it, lost the ball, and Beaver Falls has come up with a big turnover. As Adam Krep makes the fumble recovery. So another big play by the Beaver Falls defense. And just like that, after an 8-play, 80-yard drive, they're back out on the field again.
And that's where you look at the first quarter statistics. Washington had advantage in the yardage, but Beaver Falls had a 7:05 to 4:50 time of possession advantage. And that's what this Washington defense has been on the field a lot right now.
Dane Williams looking to slide out of a tackle by Javon Washington, unable to do so. Picked up still about 4.5 yards or so on first down. So a good positive pickup. Bring up, let's call it 2nd and 6. And if you can shorten the game against Washington, so going against any other high-powered offense, as much as you can keep them off the field, the better it's going to be for your defense, the better it's going to be for your chances of winning the game.
That's one of the pitfalls for Washington. They score so much and get ahead so quickly. Their defense hasn't played that many quarters this season.
Now here's a fumble back the other way. Shiro there with about 4 players for the Little Prexies. It looked like Shiro got it back, and he did. So that could have been a huge break for the Little Prexies. Karchevsky didn't look like he thought he was supposed to get the ball. And Shiro and Borkowski down there, and Shiro able to pull it away.
Boy, Shiro did a good job of getting in there and fighting for it with some of those big boys.
Well, Borkowski's no bigger than Shiro. Shiro's a big kid, 6'2", 6'3", about 210 pounds. Now facing a 3rd and 10. Receiver split out to the right side. Shiro will roll that way. Picks up a good block from Williams. Throws the pass out there, in and out of the hands of Spencer Waldron.
Brian Skaggs made a nice effort there to break it up a little bit. Waldron still had a chance to catch it, though, after it went through Skaggs' hands.
And so now, punting situation. You look at Williams picking up the blitz here. Oh, that is a nice job on Andy Trapezzano. Trapezzano, you can see that big cast on his hand. He broke his hand against South Park. You got Trapezzano. There are 2 guys in the middle, Trapezzano and Sapula. Sapula fractured his ankle against Quaker Valley. Came back last week, and in the other leg got a deep thigh bruise. So you look at their 2 linebackers, Sapula and Trapezzano, neither one of them at 100%.
And I saw Sapula's father before the game.
and he said that he's probably just going to play offense today unless they need him on defense. It looks like he's going to be playing both ways for the Prexies today.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by Fox Sports Net under the authority of the WPIAL and may not be reproduced, rebroadcast, re-recorded, or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the WPIAL. So maybe some debate about whether to go for it here. Now they're coming back out in punt formation again. But again, Shiro threw the ball out of this formation earlier and picked up a first down for Beaver Falls, although they eventually gave the ball up on an interception. I think you can bet Washington is going to be prepared for a fake this time around. Punt is off, and it's going to roll inside the 5 and then through the end zone. And so Washington will get the ball back again. First and 10 from the 20-yard line.
Looked like Slappy kind of misjudged that. The ball sailed right off of his foot, but then once it hit the ground, it kind of sputtered for a second, and Slappy had eased up on it and looked like, he made a last-ditch attempt to try to save it from going into the end zone, but he had, too far behind at that point.
The Little Prexies have been derailed by turnovers. And look at this highest scoring Class AA offenses this year. Washington 43.9, but stick down that list, Beaver Falls at 30.2. Gagula now back to pass. All kinds of pressure, but he has a man open underneath. And this is Travis Thomas, who picks up a huge gain while Gagula hung in the pocket. Slow to get up all the way back at his 5-yard line. Able to hang in the pocket and pick up Thomas.
You watch Gagula hang back there until the last possible second. Takes a big shot from the right side.
And he's able to get Thomas right in stride. Take a look at it from the quarterback's perspective. Oh,
boy, got 4 or 5 guys hit him there.
That is some big hitting. Jared Cockfield, number 75, one of the big hits laid on him there. A Cherry in motion, but it's Ward instead, and Ward is going to take it in for a touchdown. 42 yards untouched. J.R. Ward scores for the Little Prexies, and they have cut the lead to 7-6.
That just shows the explosiveness of the Washington Little Prexies. That's the 14th touchdown of 40 yards or more by the run for the Prexies. They have actually 22 touchdowns of 40 yards or more this season.
Great trap block inside. Able to spring that from Sapula. And the extra point is off the crossbar and no good by Segula.
Looks like they had a little more difficulty with the snap again.
Yeah, Gagula has the Washington Little Prexies record for extra points in a career with 106. Now that's down in time.
Yeah,
still a little trouble getting that ball down.
I know that this is a new field for the Washington Little Prexies, but they've been haunted by the kicking game in the past. And WPIAL Championship games, I know back in, was it 1993, they came in undefeated and lost in overtime to Burrow. Was that 93 or 95, I believe? I'm sorry, 1995, they lost to Burrow in overtime because they missed a field goal. They elected to go for 2 in overtime rather than risking kicking extra point in the NFL field goals and the goalposts. And so, they ended up losing that game by 1 point, 14-13. That was another undefeated team. So
yeah, they've gone to the wider goalpost since that time. I wonder if Guy Montecalvo wishes he had that back, but his team has now scored in 172 straight games. They haven't been shut out since 1987. They led the WPIAL in scoring in the decade of the 90s, averaging almost 30 points a game for the entire decade. Led the WPIAL in scoring last year, led them again this year at nearly 44 points per game. But they are way off that average right now, although we have seen their quick strike capabilities. They've had moments this year where they've rung up a couple 3 touchdowns in a couple 3 minutes. So no lead is ever safe against this Little Prexies team.
And that was the 13th touchdown of the season for J.R. Ward, who came in needing 95 yards to get 1,000. He's probably halfway there already.
3 backs with 795 yards or more heading into this game. Here's the kickoff. Rolling towards the sidelines and picked up there. Well, that's not a wise play at all.
No, good
by Tyrone Goodby. Yeah.
He should have let the ball roll out of bounds. That's one of the things I think these kids, they get the ball rolling toward them, and they feel like that's something that's their job to get the ball, but they also have to make the heads-up play. If it's rolling out of bounds, let it keep going. Take that chance. You know, that thing had some momentum behind it, too.
So instead of having excellent field position, they are pinned at their 17-yard line. Keith Humphrey, sort of a nonplussed look on his face.
That cost them 18 yards right there. They start to 35.
Shiro hands to Williams, tries the left side, and this time he's bottled up for no gain. Host of tacklers, Moses was one of them in there. Vontae Johnson, who's not only a running back, but doubles at defensive end. Again, Washington, a team with a lot of speed defensively. Beaver Falls a big size advantage up front, but their big guys are not overly physical. They run pretty well, but they're not a real smash-mouth team like you would expect with an offensive line that, again, averages some 6'3", 265 pounds.
Well, I think you see the sizes on the ends and up the middle, but the right guard and the left guard, neither of them are real big. You know, Randy Mason's 5'10", 240, Pisano's 215.
And Washington able to just barely trip up, I believe, Slappy out there on the left side. See Washington come flying up here. Just gets enough of them by the ankles. Slappy doing a pretty good job of reaching forward and came up just about a foot or so short of a first down. So it's going to be 3rd and, can't be anything more than a foot.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Shiro go right up the middle here on a sneak. He's really strong on these short yardage situations.
And that's exactly what he's going to do, but not much penetration there. Or rather, excellent penetration by Washington's defense, but it looked like Shiro might have slid through some sort of little crease there and picked up the first down. Going to be awfully close. They're going to call it a first down.
Last week they had a fourth and short against North Catholic. I think it was like a 4th and 2, and Shiro went up the middle for about 5 yards, and he just broke a few tackles, and you know, he kind of stumbled. He would have had open field if he hadn't stumbled. But he's a really strong runner in short yardage situations.
The pitch out to Williams out of a power eye, trying to get outside, and this time nothing doing. And that's Vontae Johnson doing a nice job defensively. Travis Thomas rather coming up from his cornerback position to make that stop. So that Williams does not have blazing speed, so if they can get him to stretch out wide, that's the speed we're talking about defensively. As Washington came all the way over from the other side, Thomas getting there first.
And that's what you see. You know, I think Washington started to adapt. They're cutting off the cutback angles that he has. He's running wide. They have a guy step for step with him on the outside, and they also have several other guys behind him cutting off the cutback angles. He doesn't have the room to make a little hop, skip, and jump and go. He has to continue outside.
So Beaver Falls and Keith Humphreys calling a timeout with the score 7-6. Beaver Falls leading Washington right now. 2:43 left to go in the second. This is an opportunity for Beaver Falls. Clearly, if they can pick up a first down or two, they can start thinking about scoring. But I would think right now, part of what you would want to do is use up some of this clock, so that if you're forced to punt, Washington doesn't have a whole bunch of time left to try to score.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether they're going to try to pass the ball, only because Washington has such good defensive backs in the sense that they could pick it off and go the other way. You don't want to give them the lead going into halftime. So you might see some ball control, keep the ball on the ground between Williams and Shiro. You know, moving they're trying to get a very deliberate drive going here, and like you said, eat up the clock and get the ball moving downfield so that if they do have to punt, at least they're not giving Washington good field position late in the first half.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting call on 2nd and 10. Shiro now with a power backfield. Slappy back there along with Karczewski. Shiro, play action fake. Borkowski with some pressure, lost a long one, and it is intercepted. And this is Skaggs with some room to run. Skaggs cuts back inside, and Slappy finally able to drag him down from behind. Well, good pressure by Borkowski helped set that up.
Humphreys didn't listen to me. No, yeah, it was kind of a risky play. You know, you take the chance of underthrowing him like he did. Gooseby got behind the defense, but he underthrows him a little bit inside. Skaggs makes a great interception and has a nice return on it. Now Washington has the ball at the 31 with two and a half minutes left. You know, they have a very good chance of scoring and taking the lead into halftime. That could be a very, very important play in this game.
It looks like Moses coming off the field. It looks like some sort of equipment difficulty. So he's going to be replaced by Jared Molinaro coming in for probably just this one play. Cherry now moving in motion. Quick pop up the middle to Ward. This time they're ready for it. That was the same play he just scored on that 42-yard touchdown run. Still picked up about 4 or so as we approach 2:15 left to go here in the first half, and Beaver Falls clinging to a 7-6 lead. Washington certainly not in hurry-up mode here. Brewer, though, getting them in and out of the huddle rather quickly.
I think they'd like to go in, score with no time left on the clock, or very little time left on the clock. Not have to worry about kicking off, and then go into halftime with that little lead. Hopefully they can go into 14-7 lead.
That would be a good scenario as Thomas gets the pitch, works off the left side, and picks up another 3 yards or so. B.J. Tench in on the stop for the Tigers. Bring up a 3rd and 4. And Moses back in the game. Jared Molinaro back off along the offensive line for the Little Prexies. Pagula brings him to the offensive line. Same wing-back formation that we've seen. Receivers split on each side. Cherry in motion. Pagula, quick stop. Pop out to the right flat, and a little down and out by Skaggs. It looked like a decent throw, but he couldn't get both hands on it. And so now this is going to bring up a 4th and 4.
He ran a nice route on there. It's a little bit high.
Yep.
You know, they're used to seeing Skaggs make these circus catches, though. They said he looks like a kid who, out of his uniform, he looks like a kid who should be spending most of his time in the library. But he goes out there and makes the most unbelievable catches, and he does it time after time. And I think that they don't always have to be right on the mark, some of these passes. But today, in a big game situation, you can't afford to miss.
Yeah, Gurula had his man wide open there. Now quick motion, and it's going to be an option pass. Thomas floats one up, and Beaver Falls not full caught, but out of bounds by DJ Valley, and so it's going to go over on downs back to Beaver Falls with 1:09 left in the first half. Well, Thomas didn't really sell that all that well, did he?
No, I was just going to say, he really didn't carry out the fake very well. It seemed like he was passing from the very second. These guys have such great recovery speed. If you're not going to throw a perfect pass, you saw how wobbly that was. You're not going to fool a defense when they can catch up to these guys too quickly.
Boy, Valley tried to drag a foot there, didn't he? Good job, but out of bounds on the play, although he did come down with it. And so Beaver Falls gets the ball back. Power eye, 2 tight ends. You'd expect them to run it here, and they do. They give it to Williams, trying the left side. No, it's kept, in fact, by Shiro on a bootleg, dragged out of bounds. Pickup of about 6 on the play.
Yeah, you'd think you'd see a more conservative approach after the interception, but Beaver Falls isn't about being conservative. They want to win a championship, and they're going to do it. They're going to take some risks.
Well, that was a very good call. Certainly fooled me, and it fooled the Washington Prexies defense a little bit as Shiro was able to get the corner, but pickup of about 6 out to the 31-yard line. 1:01 left in the first half. 2nd and 4 situation. 2 tight ends again, and the power eye again. Shiro will hand to Williams this time. Cuts back up the middle. Gets it out to the 35. Going to be very close to a first down. Now, if they have to measure this, and they're going to apparently stop the clock and give Keith Humphreys another chance to think about what it is he wants to do. Now they're going to call it a first down. So the clock stops on the first down. 52 seconds left in the first half. Ball on the 35-yard line for Beaver Falls. Now Humphrey staying with the 2 tight end set in the power I formation. Attention Job, the tight ends. And it's a reverse to Job, but Job is wrestled down in the backfield, lost about 3 yards as Ben Borkowski, the senior, came in and made the stop. And I would guess that that is going to be the last play.
It looks like that was Gooseby comes around on the end.
Yes, it was Gooseby. You're correct.
He didn't really have anywhere to go on this one.
Well, that's not a bad call either. I mean, a little misdirection and conservative calls, but a chance to get your playmaker involved, and that's going to be it for the first half. We're under 5 seconds and counting it down. And Beaver Falls has come out, Kevin, and taken a 7-6 lead.
They escaped some, dangerous play there with the interception return into their territory. They come out with a 7-6 lead. That's a very good lead for them because it could have very well been 13-7 or 14-7 if Washington had scored there.
Yeah, Washington twice got inside the 10-yard line without scoring touchdowns. Beaver Falls also had a long drive that was nullified by an interception as well. So each team, I mean, this could be 21-14 right now. Instead, it's 7-6 as the defenses have come up with the big plays instead of what we expected, which was the offense to come up with the big plays.
Well, I think that's what you see these championship games when you see Washington come in averaging 44 points, but only averaging 12 in their past 5 WPIAL Championship game appearances. It comes down to really how the defenses hold up. They're going to make the big stops. They're going to make the big plays. And every once in a while, you're going to need your offense to break one loose. But the defenses are really what's going to win the championship game for you.
Keith Humphreys had talked about correctable mistakes that his teams made, and they appear to have corrected them defensively against Washington. Bill Fontana? Okay, evidently we're having some difficulty with the audio there as Keith Humphreys' Tigers head to the dressing room, leading by a score of 7-6. You're watching the WPIAL AA Championships on Fox Sports.
Zip, zilch, 0% financing. Area Suzuki dealers have 0% financing on 2002 Suzukis, Vitaras, Grand Vitaras, XL7s, and Esteems, all with 0% financing. Lease a 2002 four-wheel drive XL7 for only $279.95 per month for 39 months. Now is the best time ever to visit Pittsburgh area Suzuki dealers, but you gotta hurry. 0% financing ends soon.
Shouldn't you get your own subscription to the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review? It's a heavyweight newspaper at a lightweight price. Now you can get 13 weeks of the Trib every day for just $9.99. So get a better read on Pittsburgh at a better price. The Trib, just $9.99. Dog not included.
It's the gift of a grandchild's laugh. It's the gift of a sister's advice. It's the holiday gift they'll really love. Time together. Thanks to Verizon Wireless.
Now get 3,500 total monthly minutes for just $35 monthly access on select digital plans, so you can call anyone, anywhere in the U.S. and talk all you want with nationwide long distance included. And get a free Motorola phone with activation after mail-in rebate.
So give your loved ones the gift they really want. You. Verizon Wireless. Join in.
What can I get you guys?
I'll have the Spanish omelet and some hash browns.
I'll come back.
NFL This Morning. It's the pregame show that's not really a pregame show. Tomorrow at 10 on Fox Sports Net.
The WPIAL Football Championships on Fox Sports Net are brought to you by the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review. Get a better read on sports. Kevin Gorman knows something about that. Let's head to
Falls, Washington. 15-0 under Guy Montecalvo, 234-1 in history when scoring 30 points or more. But they've lost 2 times in the championship game by 1 point, so this is a dubious thing for them to be down by 1 at halftime.
And let's take you through the first half highlights and show you what happened. Washington, a nice opening drive, but they did themselves in, or you can credit the Tigers as well.
Yeah, Justin Gregola throws the pass looking for Brian Skaggs. Patrick Nestor picks it off, has a nice return, sets up Beaver Falls. Here's you see Justin Shiro. He gets picked off by Darnell Barnes. Nice catch there by Barnes. And Shiro scrambles. He looks like he's going to break some tackles. Nope, he loses the ball. Here comes Dale Calloway flying in. Fumble recovery. Washington has the ball. There comes the big play for Tyrone Gooseby. You see Shiro dumps it back to Gooseby. Gooseby goes left, fakes, misses 1, 2 misses, 3. He bumps his own tailback. Dane Williams says, get out of my way. I'm headed to the end zone. Here he comes in, pumping his fist. And Beaver Falls goes on, takes a 7-0 lead. Washington strikes back. J.R. Ward. Little misdirection right up the middle. 40-yard plus. Big touchdown run. It looks like they're about to tie it up. The Little Prexies line up for the extra point. The snap is bobbled. Justin Gregola off the post.
And so it is 7-6, that 1 extra point, the difference in the game. And you look at things statistically, very even right down to the turnovers. You go through the rushing yards. You expect Washington to be able to run the ball. Dane Williams hasn't really gotten on track, although he started pretty quickly, and Beaver Falls has been able to throw the ball better.
I think the big difference is the time possession. You look 14-50 to 9-10. They have the big advantage there to be able to keep Washington on the field. They're tiring them out a little bit, and they haven't allowed them to make the big go-to play, touchdown run. They've been able to keep them in check for the most part.
Yeah, each team's been able to move the ball pretty well, but each team has only scored once on big plays. Gooseby with a 44-yard touchdown reception on that beautiful run, and J.R. Ward going untouched for 42 yards for the other score. So you have to credit the defenses for playing pretty well and being opportunistic as well.
And you saw the big plays, the interception down to the 1-yard line, another interception inside the 20. Those are the kind of plays you need to make in the championship games to keep the team out of the end zone.
Well, we expected the big plays to be coming offensively from each team. They instead have come defensively, as Washington has twice been inside the 10-yard line, turned it over, and not, or actually missed a field goal attempt at one time, turned it over the other time. Beaver Falls with a couple turnovers. So the high-powered big points that we expected in this game hadn't materialized yet.
No, this one's turning into a defensive standoff, which is not what we expected, but now maybe in the second half you might see a different story.
So evidently, I'm sorry, is it Bill Fontana? Bill Fontana is downfield side, ready to join us. Bill?
Coach Montecalvo, you told me earlier in the week, big football game, you want to put that picket fence around Dane Williams to stop him. Has it worked so far?
Well, I think it has, Bill. We've done a reasonably good job against him. I think he has 40-some yards in the first half. They had a couple pretty successful tosses out of Twins, Cockeye, and we didn't get good enough inside-out and corner support on those. But then we took care of that as the half went on.
Guy, you're such a class individual and one of the best coaches in the WPIAL. What did you tell your kids at halftime? What things haven't you done well, and what do you need to do to control this game?
We haven't finished, Bill. It's very simple. We've created some situations to score, and then we haven't taken advantage of the opportunities. We got a little bit impatient on a couple things, didn't throw the ball away when we should have. We missed a block on Travis's run by the defensive back that would have sprung him. We've done some good things with the offense on that side of the football against a good Beaver Falls team. But, you know, we had 3 drives, Bill, that should have been scores, and you get inside the 10-yard line, you've got to convert. And, you know, we miss a field goal, we miss an extra point. I don't know if we can play any more awful than we did in the first half, but, you know, hopefully we got guys with character and they're ready to play this half.
And the last question, Guy, what can the viewers look for Wash High to do here in the second half?
Well, we've got a few things in the passing game that we haven't done yet, Bill. Justin's got to get his confidence back, and he's the kind of guy that doesn't want the ball when the game's on the line. There's some awfully good things we feel we can do in the running game as well. But I think we're going to pretty much stay true to course and do some of the things we've done in the first half. We've got a few things that we would like to try, but we've got to continue to play great defense.
Guy Montecalvo, good luck to you.
Thank you, Bill.
Head coach of the Washington Prexies. Let's go back upstairs and rejoin Rob King and Kevin Gorman.
All right, Bill, thanks very much. Here's what has happened so far. Rochester, Gene Matzik, 2 consecutive years, his first 2 years as coach of the Rochester Rams, winning another title. They beat Fort Cherry. Final score was 27-19. Excellent ball game. And right now, Beaver Falls leading Washington 7-6 at the half. We were expecting a shootout. The defenses have been dominant. Maybe we will get that shootout in the second half. Here's what's coming up Hopewell against West Allegheny. Tyler Palco and company looking to make it 3 consecutive WPIAL Class AAA championships. And in the Quad A game, Central Catholic and Woodland Hills, they played earlier this season. It went into 3 overtimes. Woodland Hills won that game. Central Catholic will now try for a win in the rematch. There's Hopewell. Team heading to the locker room at halftime here, getting ready to play West Allegheny. Tyler Palco and company. That should be an excellent ball game as well. You look at Keith Humphreys, and I'll tell you what, he told us earlier this week that he felt like his team could play with Washington. I think a lot of folks expected this game to be a blowout, Kevin, quite frankly, and so far it has not happened.
No, I think Beaver Falls has possibly an edge in the confidence factor. You know, these guys got nothing to lose. They've never been here before. They have no ghosts in their past. They have nothing to be worried about. They come in, it's win or lose, and we're here prepared to win. And I think they, like they said, they have the talent. It's just a matter of going out and doing really well. One of the big keys Beaver Falls hasn't done is they haven't committed too many penalties. Like you talk about correcting the correctable mistakes. This is a team that's averaged 10 penalties a game, about 100 yards in penalties per game, and they've only had one so far, and it didn't really hurt them too bad because I think that was on the missed field goal attempt where they had a penalty inside the 10-yard line, and then Gregola missed the field goal off the crossbar. So or he shanked it wide right, I believe.
And they also had some breakdowns in secondaries that Coach Humphreys against North Catholic called correctable mistakes, and so far that secondary's done a pretty good job. The one long gain to Travis Thomas on the pass underneath when Regula just bought himself a little extra time by hanging in the pocket. But again, this is the fewest points that we've seen out of Washington, and the fewest points in a game this season, 27 versus Southside Beaver. They haven't been held to 7 points in the first half either this year. The kickoff as Beaver Falls is set to receive. And the kick going deep will be handled at the goal line. And battling for extra yards and bringing it out over the 20-yard line was Rory Berry on the return. And that's where Beaver Falls is going to take over at the 24-yard line. To reset the offense for you a little bit, Shiro, a very fine quarterback for Keith Humphreys. Dane Williams, a 4,000-yard career rusher, moved into 21st in the all-time WPIAL list earlier this game. And when it is Williams, with Karchevsky in the backfield. 2 receivers out to the right side. That is Slappy in motion. Pitch to Williams, trying the right side. Strung out a little bit, tries to cut back, but then Borkowski is there to bring him down. Oh, he might have picked up a foot or two. It's going to be 2nd and 10.
Like you see here, Dane Williams doesn't have that breakaway ability to get outside and turn the corner before anybody else can get there. He's more of a guy who gets out there and finds a cutback angle, and he hasn't had those on the sweeps today, and it seems like that's been the big key that Washington's been able to do, is cut off the corners and also cut off the cutback angles and don't allow him to turn on the inside lanes.
And you see 14 carries, just 53 yards. By the way, Nick Pisano went out early in the game. We have not seen him back. Williams down the left side, met a couple of yards downfield and then gang tackled and brought down.
Last week, Williams at halftime had, I believe he had 14 carries for 94 yards. So you see the drop in productivity, but you also see how good Washington's defense is, and that's a difference of 41 yards on the same amount of carries.
As Washington defense, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, given up only 25 points, the first unit all season long. But the first unit has not been out there all that often because they've been winning by such big margins.
And they still haven't given up a rushing touchdown.
Now Shiro, 3rd and 7 situation, has Williams going in motion. Shiro back to pass, looking for Gooseby on a little screen underneath for Borkowski. Read it, now the ball loose, but they're going to say incomplete. So Borkowski doing a nice job as they tried to slide Gooseby from his left tight end position over to his screen on the right side. And instead, with the incompletion, Beaver Falls will now have to kick it away.
He also had Karchevsky out on the right flat, and he chose to go inside to Gooseby. Karchevsky would have been a one-on-one situation on the outside.
Punt is away barely.
Looks like he might have got a fingertip on it.
They've got a great Beaver Falls roll, though. As Leo Clements, the punter, maybe a little fortunate there, but wound up with a kick of 32 yards or thereabouts, and Washington will take over excellent field position in their first possession of the second half. So only 1:50 of game clock is expired. Beaver Falls have done an excellent job in the first half of going on a long, sustained drive and keeping the Prexies offense off the field.
You talked about that Washington game when the season opener against Southside Beaver. They won 27-6. It was 14-0 at halftime. Travis Thomas broke a 47-yarder in the third quarter, and that's what broke the game open a little bit. Let's see if they can try to get the ball to maybe Thomas or J.R. Ward and somebody get a big gain and try to break this game open again.
Well, they tried Thomas on the crossbuck inside and lost a little over a yard. Call it 2nd and 11. Gula trots back out into the huddle. He called the play. Doesn't mess around when they get in that huddle. Bang, he calls the play, and out they go. You got Skaggs split high to the right. Valley on the near side. You see Gula just 2 for 6, 68 yards, the one long one to Thomas plus the interception. Now Cherry in motion, fakes to him. Gula back to pass, looking long over the middle, and it is deflected and nearly caught by Skaggs after it had almost been picked off by Gooseby. Excellent coverage downfield.
Gooseby, one of the things I talked to him this past week, and he said, I've got the recovery. If somebody beats me, if they beat me to the inside, beat me to the outside, I got the chance to come back and make the play. And that's where he was about a step away from having an interception there.
Well, we've seen Gurgula, who is normally very active, be off the mark once or twice. But frankly, his receivers have not gotten a lot of separation from what had been a suspect Beaver Falls Tigers secondary. Talented, but suspect.
Well, I think they've been going after the best defensive back in Gooseby. I think they're going to maybe try to pick on somebody like Slappy or Waldron.
Gurgula, short roll to the left, and he gets Skaggs over the middle. On target this time. Picks up 15 yards and a first down for the Little Prexies. Big play by Gurgula.
You heard Guy Monacalvo talk earlier about how he wants to build Justin's confidence back up. This is the kind of play that does it. Get a completion over the middle. He doesn't have to worry about throwing into coverage. Get a big game, get the chains moving, and all of a sudden Justin Gurgula is going to start finding a rhythm.
Well, we haven't seen Vonnie Johnson since the fumble. Cherry back in there, and he's the one in motion. Pitch to him. Going over the right side. Gets a good block, cuts straight up the field, and picks up about 8. Oh, Ward did an excellent job on the nice kick-out block on Rory Thomas as Doug Buford comes up and makes the tackle for the Tigers. Oh, they're laying some leather out there. Some big hits on that block by the Little Prexies. Bring up a 2nd and 2 situation. Valley split near side. Skaggs up on the high side. Cherry again in motion. And he'll get the toss once again. Pick that block again from Ward. And Cherry will pick up about 4.
Looks like you got the first down.
Plenty for a first down. Inside the 35-yard line. Yeah, Gurgula logged some miles during the game, doesn't he? Running back over to Monacalvo to get the signal. And trotting back onto the field again. That'll keep you in shape. Good shape for baseball, huh?
Yeah, sure. And as many guys as they have, you don't really see them sending in receivers in and out. They seem to go with the same backs for a series here during this game. They don't really move them in and out too much.
You see Skaggs changing side on the formation. Now Thomas going in motion. They try Ward on the quick hitter up the middle. Rumbles forward for about 3 before he's finally dragged down. That sort of innocuous-looking quick hitter, Patrick Nestor, one of those in the stop, is the play that Ward went untouched for 42 yards. So they're just keeping him honest and making sure that Beaver Falls doesn't know who's going to have the ball. And that's part of the scheme that Monacalvo has worked on so hard.
And Dan Moses told me before this game, he said, this is really going to come down to the lines. And it looks like, Washington, if they can get some long drives going, maybe they can wear out these Beaver Falls defensive linemen and just move the ball down them for a while.
2 tight end split, crossbuck inside, and that play was blown up in the hole as Thomas didn't have much room to run. Doug Buford in there. Also Blair Cockfield doing a nice job of getting in there and stuffing the hole, big number 75. And that's going to bring up a 3rd and a long 5 anyway. There's not a lot of room to run inside there. And third, and we'll call it a long 5. Gagula breaks the team out of the huddle, has Valley split up on the top of your screen. Skaggs on the bottom of the screen. Thomas in motion, quick pass out, caught by Skaggs, and it looks like that's going to be enough for a first down, depends upon the spot, and it should be. Waiting for the official signal, and there it is. First down, Little Prexies.
That's the kind of ball movement you want to see. Washington gets just enough for the yardage. Skaggs goes down on his knees, and he's automatically down. But he got enough yardage, and they put themselves in a good situation right here where they're moving the ball. Beaver Falls has been on the field for a little while, and now they have to try to stop Washington.
Now, Washington's been here before. Turnovers have hurt him. Now the pitch to Thomas. Brought down by Nestor. Patrick Nestor doing a nice job getting some penetration and bringing down Thomas for a loss on the play.
You hear so much about the defensive line and the defensive backs. With Nestor and Karcheski, these two kids are some tough linebackers in there. They make some big plays, and you see Nestor just leveled them on that one.
And Buford doing a nice job also getting in there and forcing Thomas maybe to cut it up sooner than he wanted to. And Buford's had a strong game defensively as well. So second and 11. Gyro back to pass. Little pressure. Now a lot of pressure. And down he goes. Nestor was in there. Got some help also defensively from Leo Clements. Had him crept in there.
It looks like they brought Clements in on the end. And I can't tell if it's either Tench or Krepp that they've moved inside. But with Pisano out, they've had to make up on the defensive line a little bit, shift some people around. But they have so much depth with all these different guys. Clements, he's played in for them all year, so, you know, they're doing pretty well up the middle despite losing their defensive tackle.
Clements also doubles as a wide receiver sometimes, too. So now, third and 12. Cherry in motion. Gagula back. And now a Statue of Liberty to J.R. Ward. Ward looking for some room. Oh, big hit. And finally brought down as Spencer Waldron put him up and gave him a shot.
Waldron stood him up and turned him over on that one.
But still, you're in 4-down territory here. I don't think there's any question about that. So Ward being able to pick up 8 there will make it a 4th and 3.
Waldron's slow getting up over there. It looks like I can't tell if, I'm not sure if he's injured or if it's just a cramp.
Oh, that was a big, big collision. Hard to say if one of his own men hit him or what the case is. And it looks like they're looking at his knee. That's never a good sign. I think you're right, though. Actually, it might be a cramp in his calf. If they're pushing down that hard on his knee, it's not his knee, I wouldn't think. Yeah, they're feeling the calf muscle, and it's the cramp in the calf, I would suspect.
It seems the one giveaway when these guys get a cramp, they usually grab their face mask, and I don't know, if everything tightens up and they're just grabbing on, holding on to something, but I can't, it looks like that's what it might have been, was a cramp.
When you get older like us, you don't move fast enough to get cramps anymore. I haven't had a cramp in 20 years. There's Dane Williams now, the fine running back, to come in defensively for Waldron on this 4th and 3 situation. No question, Guy Montecalvo is going to go for it here. The crowd beginning to roar here at Heinz Stadium. Split receivers, Valley to the top, Skaggs to the bottom of your screen. Thomas in motion. Gagula, short step. Didn't like what he saw. Now gets rid of it. Downfield, caught. Touchdown. Skaggs corrals it. As Gagula bought himself a little extra time, Skaggs beat Slappy to the corner. And Gagula on target with that pass on a 4th and 3. And the Little Prexies score. And now, presumably, they will go for 2.
You see, that's a big-time play. He hangs in there. He's going to take the hit from Patrick Nestor. There's a hitch and go. Skaggs, so you see him turn him, turns back, gets the ball just inside.
Beautifully thrown ball. And Gagula bought himself a little time by moving left in the pocket away from Nestor. Just enough time as Nestor was bearing down on him. Now Cherry in motion, play action pass, wide open is Thomas with a 2-point conversion. And Washington has taken a 14-7 lead on a 12-play, 60-yard drive that took up 6 minutes and 14 seconds. Little Prexies fans on their feet cheering at Heinz Field. Beaver Falls gets the ball next. We'll be back with more after this. Welcome back, and here's a big play. Dragula, pump fake. And you see him just roll a little bit left, and that bought him the time, didn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? Dragula's a tough kid. He just hangs in there. He's willing to take the hit to make the big play, and that's what really separates these quarterbacks from the good ones from the great ones at the high school level. And he's really had an exceptional year. I think that's what his 18th touchdown pass of the season.
Has the school record. Set it earlier this season. The record had been 37. Had been 36, got to 37, now is 39 on the season. Kickoff is a short one, taken by Goosby. Looking for some room. Takes off one tackle, heads up to the sideline, and is finally driven out of bounds. Travis Thomas with some help. And so Beaver Falls will take over at their, well, just inside their 30-yard line.
I think you're going to see Beaver Falls turn to Justin Shiro, see him throw the ball a little bit. The running game wasn't as effective last drive. Shiro has a little bone to pick with Washington and Guy Monacelvo. His dad, Ron Shiro, coached Riverside back in the early 90s. Riverside lost in the AA championship game 3 consecutive years, 91 to 93. 93, the last of those losses, was to Washington, a 12-7 loss. And that's the only championship that Monacelvo has won, and Shiro is the ball boy on those teams, so he has a bone to pick, and he has a little revenge factor on his mind today.
Now Shiro making sure he's got Slappy in the right formation. Slappy now goes in motion. Pitch out to Williams, right side, looking for some room to cut back. Wiggles his way forward for 5+ yards on first down. Boy, it didn't look like much of a hole there, but Williams able to slither his way forward and pick up some positive yardage.
Well, that's what makes him such a good back, is that he doesn't stop running. He's going to find a way to get the yardage. He's going to, make the cutback. He's going to bounce around a little bit. He's going to slide through the hole sideways if he has to, backwards, whatever way it takes him to get through the yardage. And that's, he's one of those kind of backs that doesn't give up. He just keeps his feet moving.
2nd and 4, 2 receivers split, top of the screen. Head into the right side is Tench. Williams with Karchevsky. Quick pass out into the flat to Slappy. Washington coming up, can't make the ankle tackle this time, and Slappy's out near midfield for that reception. By the way, you're going to see this fella's cousin, Joe Slappy, playing for West Allegheny a little bit later today.
Joe Slappy's a fine receiver himself, one of the best in class AAA. I think he's probably taught Rodney a few things. Rodney's also the backup quarterback for the Beaver Falls Tigers, so if anything would happen to Shiro, he might move behind center. But, that's a nice 1-2 punch. It's a shame they're not on the same team, Slappy and Slappy.
Tight end left side. Karchevsky set that way with Williams in the backfield. Slappy in motion now, 2 receivers to the right. Toss to the short side of the field. Williams picks up a couple and runs out of bounds. Pick up a 2nd and 8. Well, he tried to negate the other team's speed a little bit by going to that short side of the field, but Williams just ran out of room there. And there you see the injury earlier to Mike Pisano, and clearly he is done for the day. His shoulder pads are off, got the arm in a sling. And I'm just guessing here, that that's a separated shoulder, but we don't have any confirmation of that.
That's a tough loss for Beaver Falls, too. He's a good two-way player for the Tigers.
Now, Pisano is their best defensive player. So, yeah, that hurts. Pass to Slappy, too high, couldn't bring it down. In fact, you're talking to both coaches earlier this week. Humphrey said so, and Monacelvo also singled out Pisano for praise. Humphrey said nobody's been able to block him this year. Unfortunately for him, losing him early in this ball game. And you wonder if he had been in there on that 42-yard touchdown run, what might have happened. Yeah. But injury is part of the game. Washington has been nicked up a couple times in this championship game over the years under Monacelvo. So now a 3rd and 8 situation. Shiro receivers split to either side. Back to pass. Lost one down the field. And is it caught? It is. Goosby. A nice catch. There was good coverage by Thomas downfield, but Goosby able to beat him to the throw, lofted by Shiro.
Shiro throws a really nice sideline pass. Puts it nice and high for Gooseby this well. Oh, Gooseby, boy, makes a great catch. Drags his feet in there. That was in tight coverage, too.
Yeah, excellent coverage, good throwing it. It looked as if perhaps it was even deflected by Thomas.
It looks like number 64, Adam Krepp, has moved into left guard to take Pisano's place. And they keep going to the left side, so it's good. He's been effective.
Shiro, I don't know whether that was called or whether he just saw up the middle. It looked like a called quarterback sneak on 1st and 10. And he's going to pick up 6 yards. You mentioned that against North Catholic, that he was able to do something like this. Again, Washington never saw it coming.
Yeah, and he followed Mickey Cooper. Mickey Cooper laid a nice block right up front, followed him right off to his left side, had plenty of room to run there.
Cooper, the #1 student in his class at Beaver Falls. A lot of Ivy League teams interested in him. Big kid, 6'4", about 270. Their center. Shiro hands to Williams. Tries the right side now, cuts back. And picks up more than enough for a first down gain of about 7. And Beaver Falls continuing to move the chains, answering as Travis Thomas in there on the stop once again.
That's what you see Dane Williams. He just, he gets a short little hole there. All of a sudden somebody grabs his jersey, but he's going to keep those legs moving. You see him just fighting for yardage.
Now that quarterback sneak that caught the Little Prexies napping may have taken away a little bit of their jump. The idea there is to pin him to the offensive line and don't let him continue to penetrate. That chesty little wiggle motion. That comes back to the right side. Sort of that counter throw that the Redskins used to run so effectively behind the Hogs, and Williams picks up only a yard here. Tom Giles, and then the stop for Washington.
This is where you're going to see the Prexies defense toughen up. They take a lot of pride that they haven't given up a running touchdown. And, now that they have the lead, they don't want Beaver Falls coming right back in this game. So this is a matter of, this is a big play, a big series in this game for them. And they're really going to have to stop them. You see how many guys are loading up on the front there.
And that's split up to the top, Slappy on the bottom of your screen. Williams gets the ball straight up the middle and dragged down by Big Dan Moses. Moses is a big guy.
Beaver Falls is sending Gooseby in on this play. Looks like he's coming in for, looks like Bernard Tench. No, it's Karchevsky.
We mentioned Moses being a Division I recruit. Montecarlo said he has about 12 to 15 guys that he thinks can play collegiately. Now, we're not talking about on the Division I level, but I tell you, when you put out 12 or 15 guys on the field who can play Division I, II, 1A, Division III football, you got yourself a pretty good football team.
Yeah, I don't think they want to line up against the W&J presidents, but, they've got a solid team if they go and play at a little bit higher level. I think they've got some kids that can compete at that level.
Well, Shiro tried to call timeout, but instead a delay of game penalty called before that, so what had, you guess, been a passing situation, although this might be 4-down territory, has certainly become a passing situation now on 3rd and 12. Looks like some trouble in getting that formation set.
Yeah, they have Gooseby and Clements on the end, so you might see one of those guys break out. There's Gooseby wide open.
Shiro looking, steps up in the pocket. Now the pressure coming, and he goes down and flipped the ball at the last moment. Now, it looked like it was intercepted, but I believe they were going to say he was down.
I think that was Dan Moses who blew up that hole in the middle there and grabbed Shiro.
And Giles might have been in there as well. Oh, they're going to call that an incomplete pass. Let's take another look at this, huh? Ooh. Well, 1, he was down, and 2, if he wasn't down, it was intentional grounding. It was caught by one of his offensive linemen, but neither call made until they'll get another crack at it.
You're right, that was Tommy Giles who went in there. He put a lot of pressure on him. Shiro might have panicked. He might have been thinking he was being clever on that one. Either way, he got away with it.
Yeah, and Humphreys is going to want a timeout to talk this thing over with 6 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. And a big call to be made here We have some of the Washington coaches next to us saying, hey, how come that wasn't intentional grounding?
Yeah, they have a good point.
Coming up tonight, it's Pittsburgh Sports Tonight. It's 30 minutes of nightly sports news completely dedicated to the home teams throughout Pittsburgh. For extended regional highlights and in-depth interviews, catch Pittsburgh Sports Tonight at 10 only on Fox Sports Net. Championship Saturday recap of the action you're seeing here, the backyard brawl, Penn State highlights, the Pens and Sabres playing as well. Ooh, an awful game for the Penguins last night, trying to break out of the schneid there. They've lost their last couple, did not look good Wednesday night either. It's too bad I had my mother and my mother-in-law in town. They don't want to take them to an exciting hockey game. They enjoyed it, though. They had a good time.
Yeah.
Not much of a game, though.
Well, I got to see them play. I guess it was against the Islanders a couple of days back, and Kovalev had the hat trick, and boy, when he gets on fire, he's something else.
They've been outscored 9-1 over the last 2 games. Well, just a reminder, folks, if you're watching here, you can expect the best coverage from Pittsburgh Sports Tonight. A half an hour of local sports coming your way every night at 10 o'clock or following your Penguins game. Well, Cyrus got 3 receivers to the right. Has the tight end Gooseby on the left side. Williams the lone setback. Little Prexies look like they might rush 5, and they do. They're going to rush 4. Gyro back, looking, flirts one, bobbled around, and falls incomplete. Almost a miniature Hail Mary there, the way that thing was wobbling out there. Well, Dale Calloway, the sophomore, in there. Tom Sapula, we talked about the injuries he's had to come back from. He was in on that play as well. So the Little Prexies get the ball back as we get ready for the 4th quarter. They lead 14-7. We'll be back from Heinz Field right after this.
Get that side
Smile. All right, the Little Prexies taking over on downs as we get ready to begin the 4th quarter. In motion and getting the toss. That is Brian Cherry, I believe, on that carry. And it's Gooseby in on the stop. But Cherry's gotten a lot of time. I don't know whether Vonnie Johnson is injured. We have not seen him since his fumble.
He looks like he's standing about 5 feet behind Monticalvo down there on the sidelines. I don't know if he's in the doghouse. He didn't start the final game of the season, and then against South Park he had a breakout game, but you know.
The flag down the play clock may have expired. We'll wait for the call. And a 2nd and 4. Now it's going to be offsides apparently on Beaver Falls. Well, this is just what I think Keith Humphreys did not want. Washington getting a little momentum thanks to the defensive stop. They've taken the lead. The offense is beginning to show signs that it's ready to roll.
Yeah. And then this is Beaver Falls can't afford to give up little penalties like this, 5 and 10 yards, when you're allowing them to drive down the field on you without even having to make the plays.
Thomas in motion, pitch out to Thomas. Cuts off left tackle and picks up about 4 yards.
Thomas has a little hitch in his step when he gets ready to go in motion there, and it's almost like he's a dead giveaway. He makes up for it with his speed sometimes, but it's almost a giveaway that he knows he's getting the ball, and he kind of shows the defense which way he's going with that.
They wonder if the defenders are able to pick up on that. Pagula once again trotting back to the huddle. Sideline to the middle of the field is about 25 yards. He's running that back and forth and get a good workout. Thomas in motion, quick pass out to the slot. Skaggs looking for a block and then trips over his own man blocking in front of him. That was DJ Ballard.
Looks like it was good enough for a first down.
Yes, it was.
Moving the chains.
And you see Thomas came in motion, tried to pick up a block, actually missed his man, but Skaggs trying to make the move and trips over Ballard.
One of the things you have to look at is Washington, instead of going deep downfield, throwing in the double coverage, they've kind of gotten Skaggs out there, isolated him, single coverage, been able to throw the ball so he can get the ball and then make some yards after the catch as opposed to trying to throw deep for him.
Cherry in motion. This time it's Ward straight up the middle. Got some blocks and looking to send off Karcheski. Couldn't do it. Karcheski wraps him up, brings him down after a gain of 6 more, though. The Little Prexies offense beginning to roll. And remember how the time of possession was completely dominated by Beaver Falls. Well, now what?
Washington has really been able to sustain some long drives. And that's I think they're really starting to wear down on Beaver Falls. It'll be interesting to see how they hold up on this drive, because this could be a make-or-break drive after they have that 14-7 lead.
Pagula changing the play line of scrimmage, or at least the direction in which it's going to be run. Cherry moves in motion, gets the ball up the middle, and he's going to pick up 10 more. Big serve. Excellent job by the offensive line, running over that right side. Gooseby in on the tackle once again.
Cherry following. We've got number 58.
Yeah, Hughes, Moses, and Pula pulling. Again, they get a lot of guys pulling, and they get a lot of guys to the point of attack. So they do the misdirection one way, then all of a sudden you got a fullback hitting the hole, and you've got a lead blocker and pulling guard hitting the hole as well. And makes it awfully, awfully tough to defend. Thomas in motion. Now on the sweep. It's just Cherry, nothing doing this time.
So Pula's out there leading with the pull block again. You know, you look at him, he's only 5'7", 195 pounds. Terrific athlete, though. Very good wrestler for the Washington Prexies. Excellent baseball player. He's a guy, he's playing guard. He runs a 4.7 40. And that tells you the difference in these lines. But Washington has the speed up front. They don't necessarily have the size advantage. But when you can get a guy like that, he might be a fullback in some other program, leading the way. Now, that's tough to stop.
Once again, that wing formation, receivers split out. Scabs at the bottom of the screen. Valley up top. Quick hitter to Ward up the middle. And Karchevsky wasn't buying it. Karchevsky and Nestor also in that stack. Those two have really played well defensively for Beaver Falls.
Yeah, they've been the big play guys. Nestor had 13 tackles last week against North Catholic. Karchevsky's the team's leading tackler. They seem to be involved in a lot of the plays, especially when it's right up the gut. They're not going to let you get past them.
Well, if they can stiff in here, maybe they can get momentum to swing back their way. Keith Humphreys pacing the sidelines. 3rd and 10. Valley to the top, Skaggs put to the bottom. Thomas in motion, gets the pitch. It's going to be a reverse. Back to Valley. Valley looking for some room. Has some blockers. Stays down the right sideline, and a huge hit. Driven out of bounds by Spencer Waldron, and it is going to be just short of a first down, but I think they got what they wanted, which was certainly close enough, I would guess, for Montecalvo to go for it here.
Boy, Spencer Waldron made him pay for this one, though. Valley gets around the end, but then all of a sudden you come, it's the way they call one of those ooh shots.
So it's 4th and 1. Washington going for it. Crowd roaring once again here at Heinz Field.
I wonder if you're going to see a sneak or if you're going to see Ward get this ball. It's Ward.
And Ward hurdles the line of scrimmage, stays on his feet, wrestles out of a tackle and picks up 6. First down, Washington. What an effort.
Ward's actually leading the Prexies in rushing today. That was his 6th carry. It's 5 carries for 54 yards prior to that one. Picks up a couple there.
Now, Doug Buford, another guy we've mentioned today. A big pop, but he doesn't wrap him. Ward stays on his feet and able to pick up 6 yards, and the Prexies drive remains alive on that big 4th down play. Thomas waggles in motion. Hand off. Now it's capped by Gagula. And he rumbles down inside the 10-yard line, and that's going to be another first down for the Little Prexies.
You can talk about Justin Gagula's passing ability. You can talk about his leadership. His ball fakes are incredible. The kid really knows how to carry them out. He knows how to fake you out. And then he has a good running ability. He gets out there and he's kind of slithery. He slides between the tackles. And he just makes the big plays. And like Montecalvo said, this is a kid who wants the ball in his hands in the big plays of the game.
He left into Moses' arms after that play, and the Little Prexies can begin to feel it now. Thomas in motion, pitch to him. Gagula goes out and lays out a pretty good block. And Thomas picks up about 3. Now, this is where Beaver Falls defense has perhaps been at its best today. A couple times inside the 10-yard line for Washington. Picked off a pass. Made him attempt a field goal. That field goal was off the mark, so Beaver Falls has stiffened down here a couple times today.
Yeah, Washington had to resort to the pass last time. Beaver Falls has too much speed on the outside to try to go outside on, and they're playing tough up the middle. So when you get to the short yardage situations where inside the 10-yard line, they really, Washington doesn't have too many options because of what Beaver Falls presents.
Cherry in motion. He gets the pitch, looking for some room, doesn't find any. Burkowski was there. See who else was in on that tackle. Looks like Buford once again, along with Karcheski.
Yeah, Buford has been all over the field, and I think he's taking momentum of the last game, and it's a different guy that steps up for them every week. Buford, after that interception last time, that was a turning point of the game, very pivotal play, and he's back here today he's all over the field, making all kinds of big tackles.
Seth Job in there as well. The 15th play of the Little Prexies drive coming up. Pagula back to pass. Lost one, almost intercepted by Karcheski. And now an interesting decision to make. You've missed an extra point. You've missed a field goal.
And you've got to figure after 15 plays, Gergola's got to be a little bit tired. Do you want to go to your quarterback and have him throw it where he's got a chance to put it in the end zone? Or do you want to take the risk of having him kick it when he's been running up and down the field, running sideline to sideline? They're going to go for the kick.
Now it's a 26-yard attempt for Gergola. Snap down. Good hold, and the field goal is up, and it is good right down the middle by Gergola. Washington has extended their lead to 17-7. Back with more from Heinz Field after this.
No, back in his sophomore year when he was the backup quarterback to Brent Marsteller, Gergola kicked a field goal against Waynesburg. It was the only points the Prexies scored in a 33-3 loss to Waynesburg.
Gergola, the kickoff, a deep one. Got it in by Leo Clements. Clements looking for some room. Spinning. The ball is loose on the ground. And it is recovered by Beaver Falls. Oh, that was narrowly close to pretty much being over as Tyler DeShellis lands on that fumble. Heads up play by the sophomore. Clements had a little shake and bake and spinning. Actually got himself free and then coughed it up on that last hit. So Beaver Falls now with 5:04 remaining, down 17-7, and I would think that this is the time that they're going to let the Great Dane block or receive, and that Justin Shiro is going to be throwing the ball. Shiro out the flag to Gooseby. Gooseby running into Thomas. It may have been that he got a little bit of the face mask.
Yeah, they might give him a 5-yard inadvertent face mask penalty on that one. It doesn't seem like it was intentional, but he did grab him by the helmet, and you saw Gooseby's chin lower on that play.
Now, we mentioned Justin Shiro, and he has led some memorable drives this season. Against Aliquippa in the playoffs, a 14-play, 94-yard drive. Against New Brighton, a 7-play, 80-yard drive late in that game. With 25 seconds left, hit Slappy for the touchdown, then went on a 2-point conversion to Seth Job, and that one for the 22-20 win. So Shiro has been in this position before. First down after the penalty and just a little over 10. Shiro on the draw to Williams. Williams looking for some room. The Little Prexies not buying it. All right, time for this Pittsburgh Tribune Review game summary. And Williams, 20 rushes for 75 yards, did move into 21st all-time on the WPIAL rushing list. Shiro right now, 9 for 18, 148 yards, has been picked off twice. Washington being held well under their average, although they're winning. Beaver Falls is averaging 32.7 points per game in the playoffs, running into a very good Washington defense. They've been held to 7 in this game. Shiro, receiver split, 1 up top, 2 down to the bottom of your screen. Looking, doesn't have anywhere to go. Being chased, eludes Borkowski, now lost it up the field, got a man there. It is caught and it's a first down by Dane Williams over midfield. Now, Williams can catch. He had a dozen catches this season, so he is a threat out of the backfield, as he showed there as well.
He really got behind the defense on that one, and Shire avoided. He waits to the last second. You see him drop back here. He has a lot of pressure coming in on him. Nobody's open. Goes left, comes back. Eludes one guy. Here comes another. He just throws that ball up.
That play covering 36 yards, and now in a little comeback, he's dragged down from behind by Dan Moses. Just did get the pass off, so it'll bring up a 2nd and 10. .339 remaining. And Washington leading 17-7.
Beaver Falls need to get on the scoreboard here. They really don't have a whole lot of time to drive down because they're down by 10. So they need to get down there and score either a field goal or a touchdown, get the ball right back, and score again. So they don't have time to waste on this drive. They've got to make some quick plays and move that ball downfield very quickly.
Williams in motion, 5 receivers now out, and Shiro going for the home run ball down the sideline, and it is caught by Williams for a touchdown. Dane Williams, a beautiful throw, a tremendous catch by Williams. Is that quick enough for you?
Hey, they answered my prayers. you see Dane Williams go down there two plays in a row. I mean, he's been doing all the tough yards, 20 carries, 75 yards right up until now, and they look deep for him on this one, and it was a fly pattern all the way. Dane Williams, what a beautiful pass by Justin Shaw, right over his shoulder, drops it right in there.
Gorgeous throw and an excellent catch.
Skaggs was with him step for step. He put it right on the right side of him.
And the extra point is up and good. It's not over yet. 3:31 remains. Washington leads 17-14. Back with more after this.
They were having some problems with the extra points, with the kicking of field goals. They got Jerry Hall to come out. Let's see what kind of squib he's there, what kind of onside kick he's capable of doing here today. This is really what it's come down to. They don't really have...
I don't know as though they've got 2 timeouts left. 3:31, plenty of time, but they're certainly lined up for the onside kick. They've shown they can march the length of the field quickly. Still, this is...
You see Gooseby on the far left of the sideline. He might be the guy if they can get a bounce.
No, it's taken. And is that Moses rumbling with it? Now a battle for the ball. Moses bent backwards. I believe that's Dan Moses, the big guy with the ball. And it looks like his back might be in some trouble there also. I'm not sure if it was he or P.J. Hughes. I think it was Moses.
Yeah, I think that was Moses, and it looks like they were fighting for the ball, and it looks like he got bent over backwards, and finally Javon Washington come over and grabbed Gooseby and pulled him off.
How about Moses being on the hands team? I'll tell you something about the big guy, huh? This is the guy that's going to West Virginia. Great effort. He and Gooseby battling for it, and then
you see him get backwards like that, and that's where Javon Washington comes in. Yeah, it tells you how much of respect Gooseby thought of him being on the hands team. Gooseby didn't bother tackling him. He just tried stripping the ball off of him. And Moses is a big, strong kid. I don't think you're going to have much luck doing that from him.
Well, I think some fans booing when they saw the replay here as Gooseby really bent him over backwards. But again, heat of the battle, you're not really sure if he knew he was down on his knees or not, but that has got to hurt.
Yeah, and the big guys like that, they don't have the flexibility to be able to withstand a shot like that. You know, he might have pulled something out of there, and this is not the kind of guy you want to lose. Win or lose this game, you don't want to lose him for the rest of the playoffs, and he's a very vital part of this team, both on the offensive and defensive lines, and he's a great leader in the locker room for the Prexies.
6'3", 287, has played an excellent game both offensively and defensively today. I mentioned he's a West Virginia recruit, committed before the season. And Moses up on his feet, and a big roar from the crowd. A lot of Columbia blue and black out in the stands. That's the official color, that blue, Columbia blue.
Well, like you said, they had 2 timeouts to deal with. Now they're going to have to use them on the defensive side of the ball. If they get the ball back, if they can hold Washington, they're not going to have much time to go down and score. They're going to have some quick stretch again. It's going to be really tough to stop Washington from the 22.
Thomas in motion, handout to Ward, straight up the middle. Hurdling forward for about 5 yards. Maybe 6, bring up a 2nd and 4. Doug Buford once again making the stop. 3:15 left in this game and counting. Washington leading 17-14. Beaver Falls led 7-6 at the half. Washington has gone on long, sustained drives in the second half. Beaver Falls, that quick strike last time out, that 4-play, 80-yard drive at just 140. Once again, I think changing just the direction of the play from the line of scrimmage. Cherry in motion. Cross buck, Thomas coming back the other way. Beaver Falls stayed at home there. Big gang tackling effort to bring down Thomas for no gain. Later today, high school football continues with the WPIAL Class AAA High School Football Championship. Coverage begins at 4:30 right here on Fox Sports Net. Stan Savage going to be by to take it through Hopewell against West Allegheny. That game coming up next.
Raj, I'm going in the huddle.
Using one of their timeouts. 2:26 left in the fourth quarter. And Washington leading Beaver Falls right now 17-14.
You see Dan Moses is back up moving around the sideline.
Okay, all right. Okay, we don't want to trap that man in the gap. We want to block him down and trap one man wider, okay? Now, we got to hold the football. Okay, we got to possess the ball. Okay? Get out of there now. Hurry up. Now, we've got 2 plays to get it in. Secure the ball. Let's make the blocks in the perimeter, okay? They've got to make those blocks. All right? Spread roar. 31 flip. Come on, get the first down, protect the ball.
Guy Montecalvo. Thank you, Bill. This guy Montecalvo inside the Washington huddle, and I think if you had any question about whether they were going to go for it on 4th down, if they don't get it here, those questions answered. Montecalvo said you got 2 plays. 2:26 remaining. 1 timeout left for Beaver Falls. They need a stop. 3rd down and 3. Man in motion, pitch now to Ward. Going on the right side. Has plenty of room. And he takes it down to the 5-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds. Well, I think we heard him say, seal those blocks on the perimeter. Call for the 31 flip. I think this is what the 31 flip is.
J.R. Ward, boy, just look at him follow those blocks just down inside the 5. And that could spell doom for Beaver Falls. This is the kind of play they really needed to stop that play. And now it's going to come down to the point where even if Washington doesn't score on this, they're going to have a 90-some-yard drive to go in probably, less than 2 minutes.
And that's with needing another onside kick. Ward trying it over the right side. Has wrestled down if Washington does score here. They need to score twice, so another player down in the field. And is that Moses again? No, that looks like maybe it's P.J. Hughes. Awfully far away to see, and these numbers are very difficult to read. Black and Columbia blue. We can't see. As soon as we get that information to you, we will, but clearly riding around there. Looks like he's in some pain. I think it is P.J. Hughes, the center for the offensive lineman. 5'10", 219, one of a senior-dominated group here for the Washington Little Prexies. Trying to bring Guy Montecalvo his 2nd WPIAL championship, won the first back in 1993. And it looks like they're tending to his left ankle. And P.J. Hughes is unquestionably in a great deal of pain. Looks like they're bringing a quick air cast type of thing out there to put his left leg in. And they were sort of looking at his left ankle. Again, we don't really speculate too much here on what the injury might be.
Now that is Moses down back on the field. I think he's down on one knee at the 16-yard line. I believe that's him back on the field. So they do have Moses back. His injury obviously wasn't too serious.
So P.J. Hughes will come out. Early in the game we saw Jared Molinaro coming out. And I think that's going to be Molinaro who's going to be out there again as well. Bill?
You know, if you take a look at Guy Montecalvo, he is a real gentleman of high school football. He's been coaching for such a long time, graduate of Penn State. He's a track coach that believes in track very much. Now, he has two daughters that are very good, Suzanne and Laura, and he had an offer for almost $25,000 more to go to Trinity High School, and he turned it down. His youngest daughter said, Dad, you've got to stay here with me until I graduate high school, and I think that if you really looked inside his veins, he really bleeds black and blue. So that's the story on Guy Montecalvo, a class gentleman all the way, and he wants this championship desperately.
Another story on Guy Montecalvo. I was talking the other day about Penn State. He was a graduate assistant up there, 24 years old, when he got the call to come down and coach at Washington. He gets the call, and he doesn't, he wanted to coach college football. He wanted to coach at Penn State. A guy behind him, 1 year behind him, the graduate assistant program, was Tom Bradley, now Penn State's defensive coordinator. His roommate for 4 years was Tim Curley, now the athletic director of Penn State. He took this road. With Jerry Sandusky, gave him his blessing, another Washington guy, gave him his blessing and said, take the job, it'll be good for you. He hasn't left.
No, great story. You see P.J. Hughes, unfortunately, being helped over to the sideline now. He is out of the game, starting right guard. Washington with 2:08 now and counting, standing between themselves and the WPIAL Championship. Quick set as Valley went in motion. Now Thomas with the wiggle and give to Ward again. Ward barreling forward, and that is a touchdown for J.R. Ward. Rumbling in once again, and Washington has now taken a 23-14 lead. Funny, they went right over where P.J. Hughes had been. Corey Miles was out there, the junior, taking Hughes' place. Some confidence for you. Then right in behind the new guy.
Sometimes they think, they're going to go opposite and go to the strong side. They go right after where you think they'd go, the least last place you think they'd go.
The Brewers' kick is up and good. And Washington, a minute and 49 seconds away from winning the WPIAL Championship as J.R. Ward runs in for his second touchdown of the game. 24-14 lead now. 1:49 left in the game. The number one ranked team in the PIAA. It's the second week of the season. In the first week of the season, Mount Carmel lost. And when the new rankings came out, Washington was number one. They've remained number one throughout the entire season. They came in obviously seeded one in AA. Beaver Falls came in seeded second. Now, Chief Humphreys has done a remarkable job in his first season. It looks right now like they're going to come up short, but this is a team that has not been to the championship since 1984. They had not been deep into the playoffs for a decade. And he comes in his first season, leads into this championship game, takes a team averaging 44 points a game, has held them right now to 24 points, which would be their lowest output of the season. So certainly a lot to be proud about for Chief Humphreys and for the Beaver Falls Tigers.
Humphreys warns, he says, we have 22 seniors and we're losing a lot of great talent, but we've got some young kids coming up. He says, we're not going to fall, we're not going to drop off the face of the earth tomorrow. That was the one difference in the Beaver Falls New Brighton game. New Brighton was leading 20 to, I think it was 20 to 16, and
20 to 14 in that game,
20 to 14, Weston Lambert fumbled into the end zone, and Beaver Falls went back down and scored. J.R. Ward, the difference in this game, goes in and scores a touchdown, puts it ahead, and it doesn't look like Beaver Falls has much of a chance to come back, but you never know.
The Brewers' 21st touchback this year. Yeah, Shiro has led some impressive drives in that game against New Brighton. He not only led them to the game-tying touchdown at the game during the regular season, but then also through the two-point conversion. He found Slappy on an 11-yard touchdown pass with just 25 seconds left in that game, then the two-point conversion to Seth Job. So Shiro can do it, and we saw him strike quickly with Dane Williams, but again, I question a little bit that decision for the onside kick there.
Yeah, in hindsight, it looks like a bad move, especially with the return Washington got.
Shiro under big pressure, rolling out. He is dragged down. Borkowski was there. Moses was there. And Shiro is down. Getting up slowly. Sacked way back inside the 5-yard line. We mentioned Washington, a school record for sacks.
You watch Travis Thomas comes right up the middle there. He's going to be one of the last guys to get involved in that play. But like you said, Moses and Borkowski really brought a lot of pressure. They stunted so many guys on that play that the other guys just powered their way through.
Well, when you know what's coming, it makes it a little bit easier to defend. And they know it's coming now. Shiro Williams alone setback. Back to pass. Looking downfield. Has time this time. Some late pressure. Throws it, and it is intercepted. Picked off, and that is pretty much going to do it. As Skaggs came up with the interception. We saw him with the touchdown catch earlier. Skaggs picks one off here.
Washington dropped back in coverage this time. Shiro has a lot of time, gets a little bit of pressure, throws it, but it's a little bit short. It looks like, I don't know, I can't tell if it was intended for Gooseby or Williams, because it was for Williams was over his head, for Gooseby a little too short.
Well, neither team has been in a situation where you have to run a lot of 5 wide receiver sets, which is exactly the situation Beaver Falls found themselves in here, trailing. And a T backfield, I would think this is just going to mean kneel on it. It is. 50 seconds now left in the game. Fans in the Little Prexies on their feet and cheering. And you know what? Some Beaver Falls fans on their feet and cheering as well, applauding their team's gutsy effort here today and also their fine performance throughout the season.
Well, Washington had its share of disappointment over at Three Rivers Stadium. You know, 5 times in the championship game, only won once. Coming in here at Heinz Field, they're christening Heinz Field with a little bit of Prexies black and Columbia blue, as you say, and I'm sure they're really enjoying this victory.
Pagula kneels down. The teams will begin the handshakes and the congratulations. The Little Prexies players came over and asked for some more cheering out of their fans. I don't know how they could have gotten much more. They're all cheering now, arms up in the air. Team running out onto the field. Guy Montecalvo's first title since 1993. You mentioned the disappointments. He's had an awful lot of good teams. And I think now with this championship, you need to compare what he has done over the last 10 or 12 years to that great run they had way back. We mentioned from 1917 to 1926 when they won 4 titles. Guy Montecalvo's now won his 2nd. And he's been to the finals now 6 times.
Well, I think Washington had a tougher battle on its hands than it probably had anticipated, but the Prexies have been pointing all season to Hershey. Heinz Field was merely a roadblock on the way to Hershey, and you know, now that they've overcome that roadblock, it would not surprise me at all to see them go up to Hershey and contend for that state title and maybe bring back the first state championship in school history.
We saw Keith Humphreys shaking some hands as well. They did get to the finals once. Washington did not win the PIAA championship. They're going to play Bishop McCourt. Bishop McCourt beat Sharon 13-10 in overtime. That's going to be their next matchup. Keith Humphreys congratulating the Little Prexies players. You've got to say a lot about the job Keith Humphreys did as well. Dane Williams, his tremendous career comes to an end. A fine baseball player, led the team in steals last year. He'll be back to the Tigers baseball team, but he's played his final high school football game. And Bill Fontana now standing by on the field. Bill?
Gentlemen, Guy, you can smile now. I know you've chided me all week long. Congratulations. It was a marvelous football game.
It was a great football game for the fans to see, Bill. You know, we didn't play especially well in the first half, as I had talked to you about when we came out of the locker room. And, you know, we had some guys that just didn't play up to their ability, and we just didn't finish some drives. And, well, I tell you, Justin just let us down the field, you know, 2 or 3 times in the second half. He showed the kind of poise he had, and he's the kind of guy that wants the ball when the game's on the line. After missing an extra point of field goal, he kicks the field goal and kind of put the game out of touch, and then, you know, Danny Moses makes the big catch on the hands team, and we work on that each and every week, Bill, and fortunately it paid off next week, and then we were able to punch it in.
Moses really showed his strength, too, on that.
Oh, he really did. And, you know, at the end of the game in the second half, he wanted us to run the football his way, and he was just begging for it. Made a great block on the trap that sprung J.R. Ward in the first half.
Guy, looking at your football team, speaking with you earlier in the week, you were very much concerned about this Beaver Falls team, said it was the best team that you would face in the state, but you also have some unfinished business, too. And I think that it aided you that you lost to Canavan and you lost to Shady Side Academy, and this has got to be most gratifying for you.
It really is, Bill. Don't think that when it was 7-6, you know, at halftime, that those thoughts didn't cross my mind again, because we had played really well, but we just didn't finish the drives. But this is a group of seniors, 21 of them, that have tremendous character. And as I said, I wish you could have seen the attitude in the locker room at halftime. There wasn't one guy that was doubting what we were going to do.
You said you're not done, too. You won a state championship for Washington County.
Yes, we do. Washington County hasn't had one, Bill, and that's been our goal since last January. We stated that was our goal. We kind of went out on a limb, and, you know, when you take a risk, sometimes you leave yourself open to failure, but there's no advancement in life without risk, and these guys have done that, and I'll tell you what, I'm very, very proud of them.
Rob, we're going to go upstairs, but I got to give you a great line, and Guy, you have to give him this line that you use, too. You like to win with class and dignity. Tell me what you said earlier in the week.
Well, Bill, you were talking about some of the situations where at times we've had to discipline some kids, and we're in this business really to help young men grow and as persons. And, you know, Coach Paterno used to tell us a long time ago something that really stuck with me, and we try to live by this adage. A victory without honor is like a meal without seasoning. It fills you up, but it don't taste good. This tastes awfully good today.
That's Guy Montecalvo. Let's go upstairs and join Rob and also Kevin.
All right, Bill, thanks very much. Words certainly to live by, as one of the Washington's leading players today was declared.
Rob, we're going to go upstairs, but I got to give you a great line. And, Guy, you have to give him this line that you use, too. You like to win with class and dignity. Tell me what you said earlier in the week.
Well, Bill, you were talking about some of the situations where at times we've had to discipline some kids, and we're in this business really to help young men grow and as persons. And, you know, Coach Paterno used to tell us a long time ago something that really stuck with me, and we try to live by this adage. A victory without honor is like a meal without seasoning. It fills you up, but it don't taste good. This tastes awfully good today.
That's Guy Montecalvo. Let's go upstairs and join Rob and also Kevin.
All right, Bill, thanks very much. Words certainly to live by, as one of the Washington's leading players today was declared ineligible for the game, and so certainly Coach Montecalvo putting his money where his mouth is, so to speak, as Washington goes on to win this WPIAL Championship 24-14 over Beaver Falls today. Back with more post-game coverage right after this.
It's the gift of a grandchild's laugh. It's the gift of a sister's advice. It's the holiday gift they'll really love. Time together. Thanks to Verizon Wireless.
Now get 3,500 total monthly minutes for just $35 monthly access on select digital plans, so you can call anyone, anywhere in the U.S. and talk all you want with nationwide long distance included, and get a free Motorola phone with activation after mail-in rebate.
So give your loved ones the gift they really want. You. Verizon Wireless. Join in.
Got some spare change? Then get to McDonald's, because cheeseburgers are only 49 cents every Monday and Thursday. And every Sunday, 20-piece chicken McNuggets are just $2.99. 49-cent cheeseburgers and $2.99 20-piece chicken McNuggets, only at McDonald's.
Hi, I'm Bill Oliveria of Oliveria Chevrolet Buick. Out here at McDonald's, we do business a little different. We don't use a lot of hype to sell cars. We sell cars by exceeding our customers' expectations, and we have for over 30 years. Come on in and look around. We have a full line of new Chevrolets and Buicks to choose from, and we're offering the lowest finance and lease rates available.
Oliveria Chevrolet Buick, Laurel Hill Road in the hills of McDonald, minutes from Bridgeville and Scott Township.
There's no hype in the hills, just an honest car buying experience.
If you've been paying attention at all, you know that Fox Sports Net covers the Steelers like no other TV station in town. And if you're like me, I mean, if you just cannot get enough Steelers coverage, check out Fox Sports Net.
NFL this morning.
When that guy gets rolling, nothing stops him. He doesn't stop himself.
NFL this morning on Fox Sports Net.
I'm funny.
Welcome back to Heinz Field, where the Washington Little Prexies have defeated the Beaver Falls Tigers 24-14 to claim the AA championship. There is lineman P.J. Hughes. He is going off the field on a stretcher, hurt late in the fourth quarter, looked like an ankle injury. Bill Fontana is making his way down to that scene right now as we speak. The Washington Little Prexies doing some celebrating. I'm Rob King, along with Kevin Gorman. And Kevin, first of all, your impressions of the game. We expected a much more high-scoring game. Certainly each team moved the ball well in the first half. Some turnovers probably prevented this game from getting into the 30s, certainly for Washington, and at least into the 20s for Beaver Falls.
I thought you saw some tough defenses from both teams. I think, like you mentioned, there was some risk taken today. One of the things Washington did, they missed a field goal, they missed an extra point. They went back to Justin Gregola. They took the chance, they made a field goal that put the game a little bit out of reach for Beaver Falls. They also made a big play on a risk taken by Beaver Falls, where they tried an onside kick. Dan Moses recovers. It sets up J.R. Ward's game-clinching touchdown. Those were some big plays that Washington made. Beaver Falls wasn't able to come back and respond with those similar plays.
And we're going to talk a little bit about Washington, and we're going to certainly hear from them in the post-game locker room coming up in just a couple minutes with Bill Fontana. But to look at Beaver Falls, we mentioned briefly some great careers. Justin Shira, one of the best quarterbacks in school history, certainly, and Dane Williams as well, a lot to be proud of. Let's go now down to the post-game locker room where Bill Fontana, I guess Bill Fontana's not ready. So Dane Williams, as we mentioned, moving to 21st all-time on the WPIAL rushing list. Could have moved up a little further if they'd advanced a little more, but a great, great career for him.
And it was. And, you know, he had 20 carries for 75 yards. I think that's what he finished with. But he makes a couple big receptions, keeps them in the game. He's able to do it not with just his running ability, but his receiving ability. And also he had some great blocking today to give Justin Shiro some time to throw the ball. Okay, you saw him jumping around. Now we go to the man with the nice-looking hat, Bill Fontana, standing by live in the dressing room. Bill?
Thanks a lot, Rob. This one is Danny Moses right here, and on the specialty teams, you came up with a big, big recovery. I didn't know you had hands like that.
I didn't know I had either. I mean, it's all right there. Yeah, I got the ball in my hands. I just took off to the field. I saw nothing but daylight, but then I got tracked down. Sorry.
You know, looking at your football team, you averaged over 43 points a game per year. Guy Montecalvo had told me earlier in the week that this Beaver Falls team was the best team that you had faced to this day. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, they're definitely the best team we faced so far. But next week we're going to have a harder test, and luckily our defense prevailed today, and we stuck it out and only held up 7 points.
Dan, what was the key coming in? Earlier in the week, I was told that you guys defensively wanted to put a perimeter around Dane Williams. Did you do that?
Yeah, we definitely did that today. We held him with, I don't know how many yards, but we definitely held him pretty good. Our ends played very well, and the linebackers played exceptionally well, too.
Let's see if we can get Justin Gaguli in here. Justin, on my right, brother. You know what? I'm tired of looking at you. You're incredible. This gentleman right here is the quarterback for Wash High, and you know, they've had some good ones over the year, Marticek, and I believe your touchdown percentage in the last 2 years has been just incredible. I think you've thrown for 38. Your thoughts about today's football game? You kick off, you do everything.
Well, my offensive line the last 2 years has just been unbelievable, and I can't expound upon enough about how much I love these guys, my offensive line, and like I always say, we're just a family, and I think that's why we made it through this game. We were down at the beginning, but we stuck with it, and we came out second half a little more relaxed, and we did what we had to do.
Danny Moses, I heard him in the locker room say that this is just one of our steps. I think that the Washington County football teams, everything is on you. They've never won a state championship, so this is just one of the steps on your ladder to success, I believe.
Exactly. It's definitely a stepping stone for our team, and right now, I'm just proud, and my team's proud. Just bring this home back to Washington, and hopefully we can continue through the year and go to Hershey and win the state championship.
Great game. Let's see if we can get in Brian Skaggs. Where's Brian at? Look at this little guy right here, huh? You know, Brian Skaggs, I don't know how fast you are, but you're pretty precise on the routes. And explain what happened in the first. That was a big, big touchdown you had.
Yeah, well, in the huddle, we just called if they're going to roll up on us, we just check off. That's what happened. We checked into out and up and just connected on that.
Got hands like glue, my man. Small things, dynamite comes in small packages. Talk about your team, your offensive line, your specialty teams before we go upstairs. How the kids feel right now?
It was great. Finally get the ring. It's unbelievable.
Now, you have one more step to go. Well, two, actually, right?
Yeah. we're going to get to Hershey. Hopefully, we're going to win there.
Number 1 team in the state, probably one of the best receivers in AA. That's Justin Skaggs. Let's go back upstairs to Rob King.
All right, Bill, thanks very much. Obviously, a wild scene down there for the Washington Little Prexies. They've been close the last couple of years. They've gotten to this point, and now finally over the edge as well. We'll be back with much more post-game coverage coming up from Heinz Field right after this.
Discover the sparkle of fine jewelry and the brilliance of savings at National Jewelry Outlet. We carry a beautiful selection of well-made jewelry, and our service and quality is guaranteed. At National Jewelry Outlet, our prices are the lowest around. Half off all gold chains and bracelets, 75% off all sterling silver, and 50% off diamond rings and earrings, with diamond selection from 10 points to 20 carats. For diamonds, fine jewelry, and jewelry repair, visit National Jewelry Outlet, Olympia Shopping Center, Walnut and Route 48 in McKeesport.
Hey, Pittsburgh, shopping for that one-of-a-kind pre-owned car? Day Ford, Pittsburgh's Ford Giant, is going to make your day. We have the area's biggest selection of certified pre-owned cars, trucks, and vans. Every make and model imaginable. Trust us to save you money on the one you want. Whether you buy or lease, there is a better way at Day Ford. Pittsburgh's Ford Giant on William Penn Highway across from the Monroeville Mall.
Gonna make your day. Running here, running there. I got no time to shop, I got no time to spare. Gotta pick up some milk, send it back and get some gas. Gonna grab a bite to eat, gotta do it fast. But it's only one place to go. Get it on at Togo. Over you at Togo. Get what you want, when you want, where you want it, Togo.
I am Sonic Man. And I'm out to prove what a smooth, clean shave you'll get with the Panasonic Sonic Shaving Max. Dry, or wet, or wet, or wet. The world's fastest shave, 13,000 RPM.
And this is the one, baby.
Smooth. Yeah. And easy to rinse.
Welcome back to Washington Little Prexies, celebrating downstairs here at Heinz Field as they come up with the AA championship and a hard-fought win over Beaver Falls 24-14. But Kevin, the Beaver Falls led this game at halftime.
And that's something that was a little bit uneasy for Guy Montecalvo. He'd lost 2 championship games by 1 point. He even said so afterward. You know, we didn't like being down 7-6 going into halftime, and you know, we didn't feel real comfortable with it. But the kids never really got worried about it, and they came right back out in the third quarter and played well.
Let's take a look at the highlights, beginning with the first half highlights. And Washington drove deep within the Tigers defense coming up big.
You see Patrick Nesser intercepted right at the 1-yard line. Great return, sets him up. Justin Shiro comes back, and Darnell Barnes intercepts him.
That'd have been a long drive for them.
Shiro tries to make something happen with his feet. He scrambles, but he gets hit, fumbles, and all of a sudden you see Dale Calloway come flying in for the fumble recovery. But Beaver Falls responds. Shiro with a little dump pass to Tyrone Gooseby. Gooseby makes a couple guys miss, breaks a few tackles. You're going to see him push Dane Williams out of the way right here. Bumps his own guy out of the way, takes off for the end zone. 44-yard touchdown for the Beaver Falls Tigers, and that gives them, I believe, a 7-0 lead at that point. But Washington comes back. J.R. Ward goes 42 yards, rumbling upfield, makes it 7-6. Washington looks like it's right back in the game. But Justin Gergola lines up for the extra point and bonks right off of the goalpost.
And he also missed a field goal in the first half, so Washington finds themselves behind 7-6.
You see Gergola, he hangs onto the ball with the hitch and go, finds Brian Skaggs on a beautiful pass play, gives Washington the lead. And in the 2-point conversion pass, I think that was to Travis Thomas. I think that makes it 14-7, and then 17-7 after Gergola's field goal here.
And that's a big kick by Gergola. He'd missed a field goal earlier and an extra point, but then a couple of Shiro to Dane Williams completions, and this the long one.
You see this beautiful pass over Dane Williams' right shoulder. You missed the
onside kick.
Right. Ian Moses returns it, sets up J.R. Ward for the touchdown.
And Guy Montecalvo congratulating Keith Humphreys as his team wins the AA championship. And you look at the total yards. And who would have thought this? Beaver Falls actually outgaining Washington 460 to 348. The 3 turnovers, definitely a key in the game. Time of possession, very even.
Yeah, but Beaver Falls had the time of possession advantage in the first half.
Right.
Washington had a great advantage in the second half, was able to sustain some long drives, put the points on the board, and score and get ahead and really hold on to that lead with a good defense.
So the great careers of Dane Williams and Justin Charo and others for Beaver Falls ending today, but a great run for them. For Washington, it's time to move on throughout the playoffs with the WPIAL Championship already in their back pocket. Stick around. We'll be back with more after this.